Okay. Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and today I'm joined by Will. Hello, Will.
Stop.
So, if you didn't see the community post that I put out days ago, we're going to be covering the Pathfinder, as is made obvious by the thumbnail, as well as the title of this video. But this marks our first sorcery stream here on the channel and our first bit of content for the game. And it's one I've been following for a few months now and have been able to play for the past few weeks. The actual cards, at least. I've been proxying cards, and it has not been the same experience when you look at the game in black and white, because the art is amazing. But I've been playing drafts and sealed events, having a lot of fun, familiarizing myself with the game and its mechanics, and of course, getting to the point where I want to make constructed decks. Now, a little backstory. Well, I opened 2 boxes on release day. Great, fun time. My first box had so every box comes with a sorcerer. Yay! And you have to build around avatars for this game. It's almost like Commander, right? So you pick a commander, an avatar. They don't have a necessary color identity, but they do lend themselves to a particular part of the color pie. There's 4 colors here. Earth, fire, water, air. Well, that first box, I pulled no additional avatars, but 4 more sorcerers. 4. We need to talk about how these boxes are arranged. I would love to talk with someone. The second box I opened, no other additional avatars, but a Pathfinder. So I took this as a sign that I should make Pathfinder. I'm not going to lie to you, Will. When I looked into this game, the first deck I saw and wanted to proxy, I'm like, well, what's going to be competitive? Battle Mage looks competitive. Drawing cards, really good in TCGs. Pathfinder, lowest on the totem pole for me. So as a challenge, and you'll see why in a second, if you've never played this game, none of this will matter to you. But once I read the card, you'll be like, oh, that seems random. It is random. But as a challenge, I want to see if we can make Pathfinder extremely playable, right? And maybe you are a longtime player of the game, and that's a stretch because, it hasn't been that long since Alpha was released to Kickstarter backers. But if you've been playing for a while and you think Pathfinder's amazing, I would honestly love your opinions on this. And that's the beauty of doing these live. So this is going to be a blueprint for everyone else to follow, should they like. And obviously share your own thoughts and opinions on how to better deck build for said avatars. And there's no one route that works in this game. Now, Will, tell me about your experience with the sorcery.
I have watched videos.
Yes. But is
That's
it... Well, more than that, though, it's interesting because, we were talking about how it's basically Magic meets chess, and you play a lot of chess, and you play a lot of Magic. And I feel like once we got to looking at the cards, you kind of, especially the one that says a chess knight's move, you kind of knew what all of them did.
I mean, the chess knights move, I'm like, well, yeah, no duh. I'm pretty sure anyone who's like played chess, like an actual game of chess knows how a knight moves. But
For those of you who don't, sorry. Never,
sucks to
you're never
suck.
gonna, yeah, you're never
Find a
gonna know.
different card game.
Right, you're never gonna know what that means. But the game is extremely fun. Constructed is where it will be at, but I'm not quite there yet. I need to, and I should also mention, in none of the prize packs I've gotten or any of the boxes I've opened have I gotten any of the staple cards like the medallions, I'll call them. They're cost reducers, affinity reducers, the mixes, rituals, or a philosopher's stone. Yet every single time I've been out, someone's opened a philosopher's stone. So one day it might be me. But that's one of those things I guess you're meant to jam in every deck. But the beauty of Pathfinder is the fact that, oh gosh, loop deck, just dead on arrival. We're gonna unplug the loop deck. We're gonna use this as a switcher, just my laptop. But Pathfinder, I wouldn't say necessarily needs any of those things. Maybe the mixes, and we can talk about that in a few. But this is our choice of avatar today. So if you guys haven't checked out, Sorcery's main site has a link to Curiosa.io, which is their own deck builder. And I gotta say, for a first crack, it's really good. Like, I think This is definitely one of the better deck builders out there. I wish that Bandai Namco would do something for One Piece because every single deck builder I've used sucks. That's right, Bandai. Come at me. But Pathfinder, I'll read it off and then we could discuss what we want to do with it. But of course, we could just keep shooting the breeze before we actually begin this video. It has 20 life like every avatar. So this game sets you in a plain 5x4 grid. You start with your avatar, and the basic first action that everyone takes is playing a site into the domain, right? You always have 20 life to begin with, so keep a d20 on hand. You'll never go over 20. If you hit 0, you're at death's door. You can't gain life at that point. That final hit on your avatar will kill you. You can attack avatar sites, however, to deal life loss to them throughout the game. Not damage, necessarily. There are cards that have lifelink on damage. You don't get that for sites. At any rate, 1 power. The only one to deviate from this power value is Battle Mage so far, but that's the case here. Now, generally speaking, all avatars have the ability to draw or play a site, but this avatar is different. She says, your atlas can contain duplicates. So ordinary sites, the ones that are your bread and butter, just one of. Draw no sites during setup. Okay, so you start with 3 cards instead of 6. Tap. Reveal and play the topmost side of your atlas to an adjacent void or rubble and move there. So this is basically saying you can, you're not going to be hampered by anything in this action, but you can play a land and move to said location. Normally, at the start of a game, if your avatar's in that starting zone, they probably remain in that starting zone for a majority of the game. It's only later when you're producing 5 to 6 to 7 mana does your avatar potentially move or deviate from just, drawing cards, playing sites, so on and so forth. Pathfinder's unique in that it's extremely mobile, but your mobile actions are completely random. Completely random. Like asterisks there. What we want to do is channel this effect into really good sites, obviously, and make sure no matter what we have playable turns. So perhaps keeping a low threshold cost on everything on our spellbook. But we've talked about a few ideas for Pathfinder, and I guess we can take a second here to go over some of our thoughts. If you guys don't know, and Will knows already, this game is not quite Magic. It has very similar keywords and effects in it, but it's lacking one color. We've got earth, air, water, air. Oh, sorry, earth, fire, water, air, as I mentioned earlier. But there's no 5th element. You're going to notice that there are a lot of similar effects that match up with colors in Magic here. But along with that, different play patterns and strategies you will want to go for. And because this is Magic, but with motion, right? There's kinetic action. Some of those effects are better with varying avatars. So for us, we get to just approach our opponent as quickly as possible. So one of the ideas we had was landlocking our opponent. And there's a few, and some of the colors do that better than others. You could destroy lands, you could possess lands. There's even artifacts that do that for you. There's a card called Land Deed that lets you do that for you. But this way we could sort of resource deny our opponents. I think that would be fun. Okay, well, the issue with this game for me when it comes to construction is that there's a million ways you can tackle a particular plan. Finding the best route is going to be difficult. We could probably do 100 videos on Pathfinder, and because of variance with matchups and play patterns with opponents, not everyone's going to build out their board the same way as everyone else. It's hard to say in a vacuum what will be best for this Pathfinder avatar, but we'll try today. Anyway, well, any juicy thoughts or tidbits you want to share on this card?
So, I think I was the one trying to push landlocking a little bit harder because I thought about it after we did our discussion, and I brought it up right before the stream. But the reason I really like landlocking with Pathfinder is turn 1 you can pretty much just move towards your opponent. Turn 2 you get literally right up in your opponent's face, and then at that point your opponent has probably just played. If you went first, your opponent is playing their second land, and now they have to either play it to the left or right zone, and then After that, you do the whole Connect Four strategy where you're just following their plays wherever you can,
Hmm.
playing out lands or playing out sites. And pretty much if your opponent does this, to keep up with you, they're going to have to draw lands instead of drawing spells to try to keep up with the fact that you're trying to lock them in because they need to try to get out before you lock them in.
Hmm.
So while you're just drawing spells and just playing sites off the top for free, your opponent is not drawing any extra spells and is kind of screwing themselves over, over in the early game by reducing the amount of draw that they get, while you're just getting all your cool tools that'll let you lock them out of the game or overpower them in the very near future.
Hmm. Hmm. It's interesting though, because like at a certain point when you do the Connect Four business, right? So you'll rush to meet your opponent. If they start building left, you go left with them. What's cool about the play patterns of other avatars is that you build off of sites. Like you'll play sites adjacent to other pre-existing sites that you control. For Pathfinder, the one hiccup here is that it's got to be adjacent your Pathfinder, right? So reveal and play the topmost side of your atlas to an adjacent void or rubble and move there. So the way you build out your sites is different as well. But I do think there's going to be a way to, if not landlock our opponents, pressure them to build a certain way. And that will sort of funnel them the direction we want them to go ultimately. So I think that the two things we should really start with looking at today are probably just the sites, all the sites of each element, see what provides us, I guess, the most consistency with effects, like things that are irrelevant if they are random when hit, if that makes sense. Because they're all going to provide mana regardless, but we want to make sure like the sites we play have some utility, because basically they're free actions, you know. Deserts, for instance, like Genesis, deal 1 damage to a nearby site, anything target on that nearby site, or I guess all minions on that nearby site. It's a we can look at the cards, but something like that off the top of the deck randomly isn't great if it doesn't have any relevant targets. But I'm assuming that some sites will. But that's only half the battle here. We want to make sure that the things we're ramping into are useful for us. So I feel like the next thing we should look at, because all avatars are spellcasters, and in this game, magic spells typically have a point of origin. Any spell you cast will say near, well, it's not true for all of them, but some of them will say nearby or like a projectile in front of said spellcaster. Your avatar will be that spellcaster. So because of the extreme mobility, it sets us up for a ton of different spells to go off, however we choose, right? Depending on where we move. So I feel like we should look at sites and spells to see the best utilities we can get online, and like high damaging ones too. Like how can we blow out their board, landlock them, commit them to drawing sites to build away from us instead of drawing from their spell book. And then within that strategy, also, you know, again, killing them, dealing damage, and then potentially stealing sites or breaking sites, or honestly just playing high rate minions, you know, things that are low cost but good damage and will help us get to a win quickly. So let's start there, Will. I know we talked about. Well, okay, well, on that note, thanks, guys. If you're joining the live stream and notice the community post, I appreciate it. If you are into sorcery, let me know in the live section here and or the comments of this video as it releases as a VOD. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on the Pathfinder. If you've been playing since alpha, please let me know. I'm very excited to build for this deck though, so we're gonna crack to it. But hey guys, good morning. All right. So, are you okay with looking at sites first? Does that logic with you?
Yep, we can look at sites first. I actually did look at some sites already, but I looked at primarily the Earth sites and the elemental neutral sites.
Well, why don't we do the same thing then? So I think like as I mentioned with Pathfinder, as it reads on the card, you can only have it's singleton, so it's very much like Commander, where you're only going to be able to have one of each type of land, despite its ordinary, exceptional, elite status. Dual lands, if we happen to go dual color, we'll obviously want to include one of either. But I think what we could probably go for is just the generic sites first and see what there is for us. I do think that the site Mirror Realm is probably a shoe-in for us. It enters as a copy of another nearby site. So this gives us the potential of stealing effects that we've gone from other sites, or just generating value from previously played sites. Maybe it helps us meet our affinity, or it has a really good Genesis effect, so on and so forth. But
My only concern with Mirror Realm is if we hit it first, it's just a Mirror Realm. Like it'll
yeah,
do nothing. It'll give us one mana. That's it.
I feel
But
like that's the gamble you have to take, though, right?
yeah,
Yeah, we'll see. Well, again, it'll be hard to test here. The first Avatar. So this is kind of a cool one. It's I wouldn't say it's a great one, but the thing is, you will be the first Avatar to hit this site. So Vaults of Zul. The first time an Avatar stops here, they draw 3 cards and skips their next turn. So
it is so cool, but so risky because you don't know when you're gonna flip it. So you play it, have to move there, and then skip your next turn.
but mind you, if this happened turn 1, this is my 0 play. I just start, I hit Vaults of Zul. I draw 3 cards. I'm because well, say if I'm off turn, I already drew a card. So I'm at 4 spell books. I can't draw from my Atlas, right? So I have 7 cards. Skip a turn. I'm up 3 cards. So what's cool is that if this happens at the beginning of the game, I don't mind so much because it gives me the advantage I want, and then I'm prepped to handle any sort of oncoming threats. Although I will be behind on mana at that point. If this happens late game, sometimes you're just digging for the right tools, and that's why in a limited format like sealed or draft, you generally default to sorcerer because it lets you draw cards. If I just peel into this and draw 3 cards, I'm still able to play out my turn. Let's just say now I have 8 mana online, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to skip my next turn. What can I do to just wreck this board really quick? And the draw 3 is probably going to help me get there. I don't know. It seems good. I think it could be a very much double-edged sword, but don't.
I don't entirely hate it. The only reason why I'm concerned of it is just if you need to move your avatar on a key turn, it can hurt. But
Yeah.
if you are playing like a more consistent strategy where you just need to draw those really useful spells, it can be really good. I both love it and hate it because I did see it earlier.
I think we can test it, bearing in mind that I'm not sure how many your main site, your Atlas deck is composed of 25 sites, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let's go. So we're not gonna have infinite space for generic valued sites, but I do think that we're gonna go for some value ones. And if there's any deck that could use this, I feel like it's this one, just because we're always in range to be the first Avatar on the site, so it feels pretty good. Will. Also, so you guys know, there is the rule book for this game is on their main site, and it's conveniently also a PDF that you can download. So I've got it right here. Let's see. Okay, just gonna do one thing. Will. I just want to make sure I'm not lying to you guys when it comes to deck construction here. Yeah. So exactly. So yeah. So in a like in a sealed event, it would be 12 and 25. So Atlas to Spellbook. In general construction, your minimum is always going to be 20 to 40. You can obviously go more than that. Maybe it's weird to suggest maybe Pathfinder goes more than that. I don't know. I like because you might want more tools in the toolkit, but because we're operating on a 4x5 grid, unless we're doing site destruction, we might not need more than the base 20 because 20 does make up a 4x5 grid. At any rate, I don't know how many of any of the non-affinity lands you looked at, but the Geistwood is cute. I don't think it's necessary for us though. It just means that all Genesis abilities here are also death rights, which is
Yep,
LTB.
yep. When
Can't
they
really.
enter, when they die, do a thing.
Standing Stones is cute, but again, our avatar is doing this for us. Standing Stones states minions here are spellcasters. We're moving and constantly playing sites, so our spellcaster is mobile. So we don't need that. It could be nifty, but eh. Sinkhole is unique, but again, this is another feel bad if you draw it early. It's basically strip mine, except it goes away with the other site.
I really, really, really like Sinkhole because part of the reason why Pathfinder can
Oh,
have really bad turns is because you can only use Pathfinder to play a land or play a site and move to a site on void or on rubble. This makes two rubble locations because it sacks itself and pops an opponent's land usually. So
mm-hmm,
it opens up two rubble and removes one mana from your opponent so that you can move
100%.
with your avatar. So I really really like this.
100%, actually. Yeah. Because I forgot, she can build over top the rubble she's making. So, yeah, this makes total sense. Obviously, again, if it's one of those things where if you hit it early, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Que sera. I think I pulled a sinkhole too. I pulled Mirror Realm and Sinkhole. I did not pull Vaults of Zool. I don't know how
Uh,
much that card is actually going to be worth, but
Roots of Yggdrasil is also an interesting one because when it's destroyed, you destroy everything. We're
right.
really good at rebuilding. So if we play this and we can pop it whenever we want, when our opponents just don't have many locations, we can just go nuke everything, we rebuild faster than our opponent.
Right. So there are earth-based lands. What is it called? Bedrock, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It can't be destroyed. So if we happen to go into Earth, I think, and want to go the Yggdrasil route, if we did Earth Fire, which I think is where we were leaning, Will, again, like I said off the bat, your avatar isn't set to one strict color. Basically, you're trying to build your site list to complement your spellbook. So with the affinities necessary to play your spellbook. And in a lot of cases, you usually will splash one or even two more colors. So you can go trip colors in some cases. I think with Pathfinder, because of the randomness of it, we'll probably want to stop at two. And fire has a lot of land destruction effects, or at least one I can think of off the top of my head that we talked about, Will.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% with you. Because when you play Roots of Yggdrasil and you're up on your opponent, when you if you use that fire spell, which we'll get to break this and break everything, it kills all of their minions or pre-existing board at this point. It literally does exactly what it says. If we start with that and then move our Pathfinder, say we move our Pathfinder on like right on top of our opponent, right, with the rebel they're standing on, we're limiting all of their next actions, right? It's actually I think pretty grossly effective here. I think we could be a Roots deck, honestly. Um, yeah, I think we could be a Roots deck. So again, I don't know how many. When we hit 5 sites, that'll be at the point where 25% of our site draw is going to be non-affinity. So I kind of want to make sure that we have colored sources or affinity-based sources that we can roll with as well. But I do want to look
Yeah.
over the last of these. More Drew Tucker art, dude.
In Primordial Spring, the exact opposite of what we want with the Pathfinder, because it's Genesis, meaning that when it enters, it triggers this ability. If an opponent controls fewer, or if you control fewer lands than an opponent, draw 3 sites. Issue is one, you don't want sites in hand because Pathfinder doesn't let you play sites. Two, you can't control the Genesis, meaning that you don't know when you're going to get this. And three, you are probably always going to have more sites than your opponent.
Yeah, this is not good for us. Although it's really cool for other decks.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see here. Planar Gate. Minions here can traverse the void, gaining Void Walk until leaving it. So basically, if a minion were to start at this point, they could just start walking into the void, which is kind of cool. The void is kind of a safe space. You can be pushed into the void as a non-void walk character and die. Void walkers are allowed to be spawned anywhere in the void. So there are benefits to void walk, and it's usually just mobility beyond your site layout. For us, I can't say that's useful though. Mudflow. At the start of your turn, surface or unburrow each minion occupying target site nearby. So surface is the opposite of submerge. Unburrow is quite the opposite of burrow. Basically, when you play this game, there are 2 regions, like there's above ground and below ground. And if the site is a land-based site, it'll have earth element on it, or it's a majority of the sites, it will give you an opportunity to burrow. A water site or a site that is otherwise flooded will allow you to submerge. For us, I'm not sure that this is useful because we're not able to dictate when or how that happens.
Yeah. Agreed.
A target opponent, then you, may play a site adjacent to this one. Well, the play, if I'm not mistaken, is from your hand. So we're not going to use
Yeah.
Imperial Road.
Bad card.
This card is so dope, dude. Enemy units can't move through the site's top border on the ground. Obviously, amazing if we chance into this like as we're advancing, because then they have no way to approach our sites to deal damage. They'll have to put down flyers, burrow under it, or go around it. It's obnoxious. Sadly, I don't. Again, because we can't strategically play it out, I don't think it makes sense. However, I think Free City does make some sense because we're not giving them very many opportunities to come up on us, and this could be placed in an area where it's just disadvantageous and they have to attack it. But once per turn, may attack or defend against enemy units here. Defend is if a site were to be attacked, you could use a minion traditionally, or your avatar, tap it, and move to said location, or it might already be on the location to defend it, and then take the oncoming attack. Free City will have to take the oncoming attack, but it has a 3 attack advantage to whatever it's attacking. So you'll be able to kill a few things with this. It's rare that you attack into a Free City willingly, I gotta say. It's fun. I've pulled so many of these in drafts, and like obviously it's cool when you can play it out strategically because again, people avoid it. But I think that's the key word, is that you are choosing where it goes, and your opponents are obviously at a disadvantage wherever you place it. I think it at random might not be worth it.
Yeah. Agreed.
There is a site, by the way, I forget what it's called, but there is one site that is each affinity. So I think we might.
There's a few.
So
There's like 2 to 3.
there's duels, and then there's oh yeah. Oh well, we're probably gonna put those in here because we just want to hit affinity. This must always be placed adjacent to void. I don't know that this one's great for us.
Doesn't really do much.
No. The inn, anyone may cast minions here, and they may do so for 1 less. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Uh, uh
it's interesting. The only reason I don't like it is because if we're trying to landlock our opponent, we probably don't want to help them either.
right. Give them a way to get around our shit. The site and minions here can't be attacked. Only minions here can be attacked. But it's not bad. This one's good. So look at your next 4 sites, put 3 on the bottom of your atlas. So basically this is Scry 4. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I do like it. I like it enough because it will let us be able to manage our sites a little bit better.
All right, so there's a few more here. We could just take a quick gander at them. Cornerstone does exactly what it would suggest. You may play the site to any corner. Okay. Then you have Bottomless Pit. Whenever a non-airborne minion enters the site, kill it. If we have something that pulls people forward, we can kill them this way. But
Yeah, I do
again,
like it to some extent because it's worst case scenario. We play this, no one really ever enters it. It's okay.
okay.
I think it can be good. I don't think it's a an auto include, but I think it's a consideration.
If we had some sort of discard effect in our deck, like each player may summon a minion here from their cemetery, it would be kind of cool to like do this where we get our best thing back. But again, we can't really plan Boneyard. It's Genesis
Yeah,
out, so
because yeah, it has Genesis, which is the issue.
Genesis conjure a broken weapon or armor here. This is kind of like a battle mage effect, but we don't need that, not at random. And lastly, units can move between the site and any void as if they were adjacent. This is really good. I can't say that we're going a void walk route here, so I'm not altogether too concerned. All right, so I think we've got Yggdrasil, Sinkhole, Vaults of Zul, Mirror Realm, Crossroads as our non colored lands. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. I want to do this though. No, I don't think we need to do that.
So there's two rainbow lands. So one says this provides mana or this provides no mana or threshold if not adjacent to the void. And then the other one says provides no mana or threshold unless completely empty.
Hmm.
Which that one's not as bad because if we hit that early,
Right.
then if we hit either of these early, we're really happy. If we hit them late, I think we're pretty sad.
So
Not for the void one. The void one's actually pretty easy.
I feel like the void one will be easy, right? Adjacent to the void. I wish it said adjacent to the void or rubble. Obviously, be a little bit more effective that way. But provides no mana or threshold if not adjacent to the void. I feel like it will most likely always be adjacent to the void.
It is near impossible to not be adjacent to the void. So I think it's fine.
Okay, we'll go with that one at least. And the other one is
Has to be empty.
I'm not as high on that.
Agreed.
All right, so do we want to before we elect to go a particular color? What are some keywords we want to look for? Do we want to look like just site, destroy sites, things like that?
I think it like sight and movement because the two things that we want off of Pathfinder are one, you want to be able to make rubble so that you can keep moving and replacing stuff, or two,
Mm.
you want to be able to move to a location where there's a lot of openings so that you can keep building up. So those are the two things that you really want to do with Pathfinder. If we have anything that can do a lot of movement very quickly, which I think red is, or not red, but fire is pretty good at, then we might want to do fire.
It sounds like you want fire air then, because air is going to allow us. Air has technically better mobility actions. Fire is movement plus a cantrip in some cases, or just extreme movement.
Yeah.
Air lets you generally teleport or hop to locations. And there's a couple of there's even like an aura we can play that lets you like summon minions to said location as well. So if we landlock them and then start putting minions on their end, we could be pretty damning. It's called
Yeah,
shoot.
because for the Connect 4 strategy that I was mentioning, being able to teleport to the other side is pretty useful.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we want to go Earth Air because I'm 90% sure that we do want to go Earth in the end because Earth has a couple of the movement things that let you swap where lands are located, steal control of lands, and they have some pretty good beaters and tutors. So I think Earth is probably one of our go-to colors, but I could be wrong on that.
I am with you. I think if we so summon sphere is what it's called. Here you go. This card. So this is an air aura. It's 1 mana, 1 affinity. You may summon minions to affected sites. Literally, once you've committed them to going a certain direction with your corralling with Pathfinder, you could just do that and start summoning all your things right there instead, and be like, okay, now that you're over there, um, I think that would be fun. Mateus says, "Good morning. Dr. Jiggles Disney Shoes was not in my bingo card." That's right. Oh, quick story on Dr. Jiggles bingo shoes though. So my wife, um, it's funny. They came up with a phrase when they're at Disney World or as Disneyland. I think it was Disney World. I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World, Will,
Yeah.
but you'll notice how like the real planners for the day have a tendency to try to whip everyone into shape to get going to the next activity or next event. So they're saying when it came to Tom, Mr. Bradley, their dad, my dad, it was you got to put on your Disney shoes because you got to keep up with Mr. Bradley when he was like going around Disney World just trying to get them from event to event. But yeah, that's I looked at Pathfinder and I'm like, man, this girl's got on her Disney shoes. She's really trying to go places and quickly. That's where the name came from. Dr. Jiggles is just my general screen name. I get to be a doctor in this life, okay? Let me have this. All
I mean,
right.
it's funny. It's funny that you're Dr. Jiggles on a lot of things because I'm Dr. Snarf on a lot of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, both doctors.
Yeah.
Secretly what are we saying about ourselves?
So the thing is, so when Super Smash Brothers Melee came out, my 4-digit username was SNRF because I just typed in random letters and that's what I got.
Mm,
So that was my go-to. Then in Super Smash Brothers Brawl, we were able to get like as many characters as you wanted. I think like 16 characters. So I'm
mhm.
like, okay, I've been calling this Snarf the whole time, but there has never been an A, so I'm gonna add an A. And then when Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, I'm like, well, I have to edit it again, right? Like I have to update my username again. And then I'm like, okay, what can I add to make this funnier? And I went through a bunch of things. I'm like, screw it, Dr. Dr. Dot. So I've been Dr. Snarf since then for a lot of different things.
Wait, how long have you had the name exactly?
Whenever Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out,
Okay.
2015 probably. It's like 8 years.
Damn. Yeah, Dr. Jiggles I feel is relatively new for me. I forget I used to use the name Dragon Lord Jippy. I think that might still be my WotC name, but that name I guess was taken. I don't know why I switched to Dr. Jiggles, but it happened. I was promoted. I feel like Doctor is above Dragon Lord. In my world, Doctor is above Dragon Lord. All right, so
You have Dragon Lord and Doctor.
yeah, which is superior? Who will you take on your quest? I guess the Doctor. Not the dragon. You sure you don't want the
Doctor
Dragon Lord?
Giggles and his Disney shoes.
Yes. All right, so we've got Scorched Earth is the only site destroying one that we can roll with. Will, I feel like we need to go fire if we want to do the Yggdrasil thing.
Yeah, if we want to do Yggdrasil, we go fire. If we don't want to do Yggdrasil, I think it's air and potentially something else because I was looking through the air cards and I found teleport, which is pretty much exactly what we want. It's a two double air to teleport an ally to the surface of target site. So
Mm-hmm.
that's literally just, oh yeah, you thought that you were safe on this side? Nope, I'm already on the other side.
I feel like I think these are the only destroy land cards, though. It's kind of insane to me.
Yeah,
Well, let's do two of the Scorched Earth minimally, and then we can look over the magics for fire and air and air. Let me see here.
fire air might be the best option because I do like that Earth lets you mess around with land placement. Earth lets you steal stuff with the Conquering Worm and that kind of thing. And Earth also lets you play sites a little bit faster with stuff like Frontier Settler that just
Mm-hmm.
says tap place a site to an adjacent location, or play a site off the top of your site deck and then uh at an adjacent location and you may move there. If he does move there, he loses this ability. Well, I think while he's there,
Hmm.
buh, 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 buh.
I can like
Seller moves
wind
there.
blast as well. Push everything
Oh,
atop
no,
sites one step in a cardinal direction. Like that's actually
he,
quite good for rearranging our Pathfinder's path.
yeah, but also has to move there and he has to lose the location for Frontier Settler. But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he's kind of a rampy boy.
You were talking about Earth though.
Yeah, that's for Earth. So it's like Frontier Settler and Conqueror Worm are the two main reasons why I want to use Earth. Because Frontier Settler is a
Yeah.
mini Pathfinder.
We haven't committed to anything yet. I will say that Earth has the best range of tutors, I'll say. Right? So Earth has Call to War, Common Sense, Sorted Animals, which is on screen. They're all right there. Why don't we just do, not that we need to go this route, but I would like to have some search effects. So maybe we should just research what list have search effects, what colors have search effects for us. Air does, the water one is Dream Quest is great. This is a pure tutor. Now the thing is, avatars can't fall asleep, so Dream Quest doesn't work on that spellcaster. You would need to summon a new spellcaster, so not quite good for us. Assorted animals could be good depending on what beast we're rolling with. The hidden PhD channel. That's right. Are there cool names for the color elements combinations yet? No, Mateus. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up with the names. Sulfur is earth fire.
No, no, no. Earthfire is molten.
Oh, that sounds better. Never mind. Okay.
I
Well, there you go.
I like a sulfur being earth, or sorry, not earth, but fire air maybe, or smoke. No, that
Yeah.
would be smoke.
Yeah,
Fire
just
air is
listen.
smoke.
All right, so there's only so many tutors in the game. Highland Princess, though. Genesis, search your spellbook for an artifact with cost of 1 or less. This is really good with some key artifacts. Philosopher's Stone comes to mind, if I'm not mistaken. That one's also
Well, I'm pretty sure that we have a very fun artifact that allows us to steal a location as long as we have a unit on that location, right?
Right, but that one is 4. Landed is 4.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. So why I like the searchers, like any game, it just makes sure that we outdo some of the random elements of our deck. So if we do play at least one Earth site and we're having issues playing a hand or getting the removal we need, bar minimum, we can use common sense to at least find that from our list. And you'll notice it doesn't care the type of ordinary card; it can just be any ordinary card. So running like 4 of these to just get all the cards we need in our hand when we need them is great. Same story with Call to War, except in this instance, the card needs to be a mortal. Mortals are like the human characters in this game. So, however many of those we're actually rolling with that are useful and exceptional, this should be a heavy consideration as well. And then, lastly, the Sword of Beast I mentioned earlier, you just pump X into it. This is obviously better as the game furthers, but there are plenty of Beast in the game as well. I think Earth is definitely one route we want to go. Well, we can look into my only issue though is, and this is something I was saying, and it's sort of in the title of this video, mobility and control. Because we are moving a spellcaster around wildly, I want to make sure that we are doing a lot with said. We're doing a lot with said spellcaster. So why don't we just look at our fire effects first, and I think we can go over earth effects. Fair?
All right.
So I think that we're going to get enough mobility out of. I almost want to just go like air, earth. And the off chance we hit those basics, those ordinary air sites when we should like, they'll give us ramp, right? They'll give us 2 mana on said turn. My I think that those ordinary sites are better by chance than the ordinary fire sites, which are just Genesis burn a thing. So it's weird, dude. Like I want to do the Yggdrasil thing because I think that this is the best deck for it. Right? Am I wrong? Like just because if we're going to
Probably.
be generating sites very easily, so we should be going fire and what? Fire and earth or fire and air? Do you want extreme
So
mobility or do you want, I don't know, a deck
it
fix hand fixing?
it really depends. Honestly, if we want to do Yggdrasil, I think we do Fire Water because we want to be able to consistently hit Yggdrasil. So being able to stack our deck is probably the best option.
Ooh, you know what, Will? Well, water does have some really cool effects, though. All right, why don't we look at some of the spellcasty things that are both in air, fire, and water? So we'll start with water. So this is an aura. Well, we don't really need to look at the auras, I guess, in this instance, but dodge roll. This is the one I told you about. This is the one instant speed spell in the game. Will you may cast when an ally is attacked. That's your avatar or minion. An attacked ally may move to another location to evade the attack. So you can mobilize your Pathfinder to get back on track to start building things out, or just avoid like a death blow.
It's not bad. Yeah.
It's not
Um,
bad.
Dodge roll is pretty good because if our opponents, because we're running face first into our opponent, let's be honest. So just kind of running at them and then using dodge roll to move away or move to wherever we need to be for another location is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Not bad. So if we're rolling with water sites, obviously drown is good. I don't know how many effects we're going to have to flood people, but there's drown and bury. They're sort of like the de facto removal spells for minions or artifacts against a majority of decks. Obviously, bury has more applications because unless they're on a water site, which is less common, this doesn't work. So I don't know how effective drown actually is, unless you're playing an avatar that can convert sites into, like flood sites, or you have cards that flood sites. But I don't know how many of those are actually be rolling with. We'll see though. Extinguish all fire minions and fire auras occupying target site 2 steps away. So something like this is what I like Pathfinder for, because it does require it be X amount of steps away from your spellcaster. You are putting yourself in range every single time. So I don't think we should mainline anything like this. so I'll wait on that. Deal when damage target minion above or below adjacent water site. Pull it to the caster's location. Draw a card. Eh. I like that, but again, water site. Water is less commonly played. From my constructed experiences, water seems to be less commonly played. It's the control color, much like Magic Blue. The only issue is it's I don't know if it has all the support it needs, so it can be a little difficult to play. I did draft mono blue last time I played, and I did okay, but I got no bombs, dude. It was rough. Each ally heals an amount equal to the number of sites in your body of water. That's nah, we don't want that. Plague of Frogs, summon 7 frog tokens. Well. How do you feel about Plague of Frogs?
What do frog tokens do?
I think they're just 1/1s. Hold up.
We're gonna need to quickly look that up.
Well, I've got some frogs here.
I believe that they're just 1/1s.
No. Zero.
Oh.
0 with submerge. So basically, the frog token is just
it's on death's door.
An annoying blocker. Exactly. One Plague of Frogs. It's a unique. It's just a one of. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what the best application we have for Plague of Frogs is.
I don't know. Not many.
Oh, you know what? You know what's really good for? Putting the not the map, but the thing that says if the equipped unit owns the location, whatever that thing is, because it's submerged, right? So it can't be dealt with pretty much at all. So you're gonna have a frog on every location. At some point, you can just say, "Yeah, I'm gonna play this on this location, give it to this frog, and then start stealing stuff."
Right. Well, the frog tokens would be summoned to your location.
They'll slowly move around.
Yeah, they'll be annoying. We'll keep them for now. I put 4 ice lances in. So shoot a projectile, deals 3 damage, then 2 damage, then 1 damage to 1 unit at each of the first 3 locations along its path. What's cool is when you cast a spell, it could be summoned on your space or adjacent to you. So there is some mobility in the reach of this spell. And you elect which unit, if there's multiple units, you elect which units on a given site take the damage. So really good removal. I think we could run with all of it. It's also just going to be really good for pinging the crap out of our opposing avatar. This turn, flood target site and give each minion their airborne. Draw a card. So this is kind of a cool cantrip. The flooding is relevant for some effects, and it's only this turn, so giving opposing minions could be harmful if you give them airborne, but it also means that anything there for you will be able to move diagonally because airborne gives you that range of mobility. Let's see here. Forked TTG says, I build my Pathfinder with earth, water, with a splash of air. I'm still pretty high on earth for this build. I think it's good for the deck. Just because if you randomly draw in Genesis ordinary earth site, it's still viable. Like you'll just make a foot soldier and that's not a bad thing. I also think that the effects in earth are really good for it. We're going to go, I think this time around, pure fire water because we want to do land destruction and control. And there are a lot of really good auras in blue, which we haven't gotten to, that we might want to use to manipulate what happens with the board. So I think we're going to have a lot of control and a lot of damage coming by way of fire and water. They're sort of the 2 more damaging ones. Let's see here. Freeze nearby enemy minions. They're disabled until your next turn. That's okay. I don't know about Geyser. Polymorph, transform target nearby minion into a frog token.
I mean, it's not bad.
That's really good, actually. So nearby, again, adjacent is on you, cardinal directions. Nearby is, if you're looking at the grid, it's the center and then the 8 spaces around you. 8 spaces around you. So
it's adjacent and surrounding. So it's
right.
a plus in square.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And again, because of our extreme mobility, we'll be able to polymorph the crap out of things. So I like that. Conjure a copy of an artifact carried by caster. Copy artifact of a copy carried by caster. Well, you know, if we had Philosopher's Stone and we want to copy it, it's maybe a little overkill. Replication, I have trouble assessing. If we went with, like I was saying to you, this is off camera though, Will, because of the extreme mobility, the way I look at Pathfinder, I feel like you could throw a sword on her or throw a piece of equipment on her and it would be very good. And like you could just dual wield that equipment.
Now, Patrick, hear me out. What if we make our Plague of Frogs and then we make like 8 copies of the land deed and then using replicate and we just replicate all those onto our frogs and we submerge them onto all of our enemies' lands and we just control everything.
Conjure a copy of an artifact carried by a caster. Yeah, I guess, yeah, if you're submerged, I believe you would own the land still. Copy? Nah, okay. Well, I think that's a real dream. I don't know. I don't know if it's a real practical one, but it sounds like a real
I
dream.
find that funny. It's more funny than anything else.
I agree. Target water site pulls in above ground unit to its adjacent to draw a card.
That
Target
would
water
act
site.
so a random pitch, water air using units with flying or airborne. I can't remember the keyword for it, but
Airborne.
using airborne units so that they can't be attacked, and we just land deed everything with replicate.
Well, look.
That is a dumb option, but that is an
No.
option.
Oh no, I want to wait. Wait. That. Oh man. Okay, we need to do another Pathfinder. Clearly, I want
Yeah,
to.
we have like 5 Pathfinder deck ideas.
I think we stay the course though. I think we play
Yeah,
high control, high mobility. So like shrink is really big in my book. So as soon as we get to the point where we're at that like high rate 5 for 6 Minotaur or whatever they have, we can use shrink on them because there's another one of those things that says nearby and kill it with our avatar. Right. This is really good. This is like exceptional removal in the game. Shrink in my dude. I played shrink in my draft recently. So good, so good for clearing like high cost minions or just good value minions. The zero power is relevant because when enemy minions and avatars and minions strike one another, damage is exchanged. So this means that we can get away unscathed and our avatar's 1 power is enough to kill the thing, right? Unless they're using their own dodge roll. But I like shrink. I think these cantrips are good. My question is, are the cantrips in water good for us? So all colors have a few cantripy spells. I can't say I'm like super high on this one. I don't know. Riptide's it's cute. Sleep is really good, by the way. The way to get around sleep is if you're playing a fire list against someone who puts your minion to sleep, what you could do is just generate or play out a fire site Genesis, ping that minion, get it back up, right? Well, in Pathfinder's case, if we're moving around and we are dictating where they're going, we can make it so it's very difficult to Genesis desert ping the sleeping whatever. So sleep might have some viability in the deck. I'll put one in for now. We can look at the last ones here. Submerge all minions and artifacts occupying target water site. Super good. I don't know if we're going to go with any water specific spells though. Twist of Fate, exchange life totals with target opponent. X is the difference between your life totals. We're going to be up in their grill, but I don't think we're going to be taking damage. We
Well,
shouldn't be.
here's the thing. We can exchange life totals with our opponent's avatar with one of our lower health units, right? So this is just pay X mana, deal X damage, pretty much, and we're gonna be making a lot of mana.
I think it needs to be your avatar's life total though. So like if
Got
I'm
it.
at yeah, if I'm at 10 and you're at 20 still, then I pay 10 and then you're at 10 and I'm at 20. It's cute. I feel like there's probably better ways to do it. Fort says good combo with land deed is Mago Amoeba, Land deed and 7 League boots. Yeah. So 7 League boots. If you haven't, look up the if you're checking the chat, look at that other character because I haven't seen that yet. But 7 League boots is just an extreme mobility artifact, a unique one. It's like +7 speed if I'm not mistaken, so +7 movement, I should say.
I'm not seeing Megamoeba. It might be misspelled in chat or something.
Maybe Maga would
Hold
bring it
on,
up.
let's Let's see if I'm. No, it's Mega.
Huh. Wrath of the Sea is kind of cool.
Mega.
Do you think that this is a good cost for a Chain of Vapor? 4 and 2 water threshold. Target nearby site. It doesn't need to be water. Return each artifact and minion there to its owner's hand.
Uh, it's not bad because we can probably.
We can ramp to that, and then it's a good tempo play, mind you. If the things you're bouncing have great Genesis effects, obviously this feels awful. But if you bounce a token to someone's hand,
Yeah. Uh, I mean, it is still just good removal, and if we're going to be trying to landlock our opponents, they're hopefully not going to have enough mana to replay stuff quickly.
right?
So I like it.
I like it too. I'll go with it. I think that between Shrink, Polymorph, the Ice Lances, I don't think we need Sleep or Drown. And I am putting play sets of each card that goes in for now, just because, in case you guys don't know, Ordinary is 4, Exceptional is 3, Elite is 2, Unique is 1. We're going to go with the full play set until we determine otherwise. So right now, I think that makes sense. Let's go Fire Magics. Why don't we? Backstab. Target minion moves to an adjacent location, if needed, to strike another target tapped minion there.
Oh, okay. I see the dumb combo that has been recommended, and I actually do love it.
You want me to
So
look it
it's
up?
Mega MOBA or yeah, Mega MOBA. So it's
Mega?
yeah, MEGA. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So when it moves to a location, it occupies all locations that it has ever moved to functionally. And then it occupies all those locations and has one power for each. So when it moves, it is occupying 2 locations now. Then when it moves, it's occupying 3 locations now. Then when it moves, it's occupying 4 locations now. So, and then it's a 4/4 that has the land deed and is controlling all 4 of those locations at once.
I mean, you don't even need the 7 league boots. If we're fire water, there's so many mobility spells in fire. We can literally give it like plus X movement and just move, basic action attack, right? It just became a 5 on this turn or whatever.
That could be a good finisher.
All right. I'm into it. I'm really into it. Ooh.
Yeah, because if we do the land deed, that just ends the game by just saying like, okay, so I'm gonna trailblaze and then I'm gonna move to your 3 locations and gain control of all of them.
Okay,
Good
well,
game.
we've mentioned Land Deed a million times. We clearly
Yeah,
want to play it. So I've got Land Deed, 2 of. The Mega Amoeba is Elite, I believe. Mega Amoeba. Mega Amoeba.
yeah.
Hell yeah, that sounds cool. Obviously, it will die to a stiff breeze, so make sure you're smart about how you play it. But I think with any of the mobility tricks from Fire, the plus movement will be good. So on that note, thank you, Forks, by the way, for the strategy there. I think that's really good. We can look at 7 league boots. I'm not really sold on them. My thing is, and this isn't a bad thing, 7 league boots, Bear has +7 movement. Obviously, extremely potent, extremely good. It's a lightning rod for effects, so like make sure you use it as soon as it comes down. And it's not absolute. Well, with Pathfinder, just herself, if we wanted to box someone in, we can start using this mobility to move around and start building off of other sites that they're trying to build up.
Yeah, this is
So got it.
functionally a teleport, right?
It's functionally a teleport, and if you have Magellan's map, it's really a teleport. Magellan's globe, excuse me, lets you. So normally the borders of the mat aren't connected.
Yeah,
Magellan's
normally it's a
globes.
closed off box, but then you Magellan's Globe allows it so that it not rubber bands, but it wraps around.
We've got some good synergies here so far, I gotta say. We've got plenty of removal, plenty of ways to stifle our opponent's board. So sleep has a little bit more permanence, I think, than a shrink, but shrink is just very good at spot removal if you have a minion or your avatar in said location. Polymorph, turning something into a 0-cost frog, is essentially the same thing as a shrink. The only difference is it has permanence. There's no way to unpolymorph that I'm aware of. And I think it's a tad bit more effective than sleep, so we can go without. I think I would rather just go for, at this point, a few more damaging spells to help clinch out games, and a few more mobility options. We're looking at 23 cards in our spell book. We have 17 slots left, and we haven't added any minions. So we do need to consider what those minions will look like. There's two strategies here. There's the Roots of Yggdrasil Nuke It effect. This could be our own sinkhole if we chance into that, but more likely a Scorched Earth to blow up Yggdrasil at an elected, moment. And we're going to be on top of that exchange. We should be on
Now,
top of that exchange.
yeah. Now the question is, do we want to add cores for color fixing
Oh,
and a bit of
so
ramp?
so at this point, if you guys don't know, the cores are essentially medallions in Magic the Gathering. They are cost reducers, but they provide you. They're like a mana dork, I guess is maybe more effective. So they provide you an affinity and they provide you a mana to use per turn. I am honestly less high on the cores and more high on the mixes. The mixes are one shot, but because of their nature, we can play some bomb spells early. And I think we need to rely on some bomb spells in this deck. So I feel like I would rather stack, and mixes are elite. So they're going to be cheaper for me to buy, Will. I don't know that we need Philosopher's Stone. I don't know that we need the cores. While yes, they are good at... I'm sorry, these are not medallions. They really aren't, because they're not as good as a medallion. These really are effectively just dorks. A medallion would be a cost reduction on every spell you play of said color, where this is just 1 mana.
This is a rock. It's a rock.
Yeah, we could just say that. It's a 1-for-1 rock. That doesn't exist, Will.
I know, but
I know.
it's functionally we have fast mana. This is the closest to fast mana.
I think that genuinely the mixes are the best for us. So mix of fire, mix of water. So
I
it's
think
it reduces the affinity cost of your next spell of said color and then gives you 3 mana. So if what we're trying to do is lay down some real hate, and or after we've Yggdrasiled, play out an effective spell that'll help us clinch the game, I think mixes are going to help us get there easier than a dork. Does that make sense?
my only concern is that we're ramping out very quickly, so we pretty much always hit the mana that we need. We just need to hit colors. I don't think we need to worry about getting out bomb cards because we are ramping. We are ramping way faster
Well,
than anyone else.
my theory is if we see a mix in our opening hand, I will mull the other 2 cards to just find like the 5 drop, the 6 drop, the whatever drop, and I will make that my priority. So it's just
Okay.
setting up the appropriate Pathfinder board, and bearing in mind like we are ramping, but if we can get to our turn 8 drop by turn 5, that's going to be really damning for our opponent because it puts a threat online that they need to deal with. And if it's something that's hard to deal with, right, we need to look over what we have. And obviously, it would hopefully have a good Genesis effect as well, tethered to it. So we'll look into that. Let's just try the mixes first. I think you're probably more than right on the cores here. I don't know. I'll leave it to you guys. Do you think that cores in the Philosopher's Stone always essential for every deck? In my mind, because Pathfinder only has the 1 draw per turn, we want to make sure that 1 draw is game changing. And I feel like mixes are more game changing than a core from turn to turn, because mid to late game, the core providing you mana is probably not relevant with the same thing you were saying, Will. Like, we've built up such a site base, we have so much mana going for us. How important is a little bit more mana? I don't know. Are cores and stone must plays always? Yes.
The funny thing is, I'm not even like too high on Philosopher's Stone for this deck just because we're 2 color. So it's like
Mm.
it'll generate 2 mana a turn if we're playing into our colors, but we're not consistently playing into our colors. Our deck is
No.
inconsistent.
Right. So I think that Philosopher's Stone is really good for an elementalist, which has she starts with 1 of every affinity. So she'll just help you get there to play out your low cost spells. But Fork says in my Pathfinder deck, I found that getting mana I need, but my threshold is lacking. Right. So I was thinking that would also be the concern. So in conversely, outside of the three, the ritual mana, reducing the threshold of that spell to nil is amazing, right? It just ensures that we hit the thing we want to hit early. So I do think that there is some power there. Give me 1 second. Yep. Yep. All right. So, Will, I wanted to look at fire spells with you. We sort of deviated there,
Yeah.
but I like where we deviated to, mind you. And we definitely need to look at minions. But I think this deck is coming together well. We can sort of recap everything it's going to be doing soon. I have to keep great cards in my hand because I don't have the right threshold at all times. Yeah. Well, I think just maintaining a deck where the threshold curve is low is probably important, like 2 being the high end, but we'll see. Backstab. Let's see. Target minion moves to an adjacent location if needed to strike another target tapped minion. That is just okay in my book.
Yeah.
Right. So what's cool is the minion can be summoning sick for this, right? So if I just summon something and backstab you, it's a good way to just, let's just say that you attacked one of my sites, your minion had to tap in a to basic action move and attack. I could summon something, have my thing strike your thing, and then move that minion around later, right? So backstab's not so bad, I guess. But here's Blaze. This is sort of a Mega Amoeba trick. This turn, give an ally movement +2. It can't be intercepted, and it leaves a trail of fire at departed locations. When it stops, each unit along the trail takes 2 damage. So like that snake game that you've seen, you can kind of do that if you have this in 7 League Boots and you have +9 movement. It's pretty gross, Will.
Burn everything to the ground.
I don't know. Do you like that or no?
Nah.
You don't like Blaze?
Sorry, no. Blaze is fine. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, Blaze is good because the +2 movement is honestly good enough. The Blaze effect, like leaving a trail, is not too relevant for me, but I do like the +2.
How do you feel about Cone of Fire? Choose a direction from the caster. Deal damage to each unit at a location in the affected area. So this is 1 space in front of you, does 5 damage, then 3, then 1. It's quirky. 3 is a sweet spot. A lot of minions
Yeah,
mid
like
games
this,
stop at 3.
you can easily basically take a step back with Pathfinder and then just blow up an entire board. I do like it.
Right, and hopefully hit the opposing avatar as well. If this was on the avatar that you hit, it's 5 damage, which is 1/4 of their health. And then hopefully you also clear out some other things, but deals damage to each unit at location. So what's also important to note here is if this is a way to blow out any of their chump blockers. So let's say that, they near the end of the game, like if you're at Death's Door, you'll notice that people tend to clump up their minions adjacent, nearby, or on top of the avatar, depending on their mobility. This will help you clear out all of that chaff so that you can just get in for a final blow. But also, it will deal the final blow. If this was before Death's Door, right, if they're chumping, this is also very good for clearing the chump blockers. I'm okay on this. It's exceptional. I think we'd only put like 1 or 2 in the deck, right? We'll keep it at 1. The next time an ally strikes a unit this turn, it deals double damage. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to do any kind of major burst kill. It's just
No.
we're trying to be the mill deck at this point.
Oh, dude, Flame Wave. We'll get to that in a second. I think that might be better for us. Oh my god, actually. You know why I think it's better for us? Here. Wait. Oh no, it doesn't want me to. No. Doesn't want me to remove any of these. Okay. We'll look at Flame Wave in a second. But Heat Ray. Shoot a piercing projectile, 2 damage to 1 unit at each location along its path. So it's just a straight line of damage. This is, again, a good way to close out the game. I think we could probably add a few of these. We'll adjust the quantities of everything soon. Flame Wave. Flame Wave flows horizontally from one edge of the realm to the other. Deal damage to each unit atop sites of the area affected. So, if we cast a Flame Wave we can do 7, 5, 4, and 1 in a row. What do you think about that?
Uh, I mean, so we no, yeah, we don't. This is non-location specific. This can be cast from anywhere, from any side of the board.
Right, so we can
Um,
get the hell away from this.
yeah, this is also really good for the whole Connect 4 game that we're going for, because if our opponents tried doing stuff from the other side, we're like, oh yeah, we're on the left side of the board, you're building from the right.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye to everything on the right side of the board.
That's true. I like it. I don't know how many actually deserve to be in the deck, but I like it. We have fire bolts, again, more damage. Shoot 3 projectiles in the same direction, one at a time. Each deals 1 damage. So you can elect to. It's weird because it doesn't say target. The phrasing here is weird, but if I'm not mistaken, you can elect to hit the same thing 3 times.
Yeah, seems
So
like it.
yeah, I think the one at a time is indicative here. It's like I guess you can choose what you're hitting. I don't know. I don't know. Do you like that more in Heat Ray?
Uh,
A concentrated 2 damage to 1 unit along its path in each site that it crosses, or 3 damage spread out.
Heat Ray's probably better.
I think Heat
It
Ray's
really
probably better.
depends on what we're facing against.
Heat Ray is 1 more mana, but it's not so bad. Shoot a projectile. It deals 4 damage on impact and 2 damage to each other unit at location. I actually quite like Fireball as well.
Thoughts on Infernal Legion? This could be one of
Oh.
our prom cards. It's a minion.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh damn it. Yes. The answer is probably yes. I like Infernal Minion a lot. I also like gain control of target minion until it deals damage. Tap it. It gains stealth, infiltrate.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I pulled a copy of Infernal Legion. We can take a look at it really quick.
Infernal Legion is an elite undead, and it says at the end of your turn, deal 3 damage to each other adjacent unit. Uh, if we just kind of drop this down near opponent stuff and run away, uh, this starts burning down everything.
Right. I think that this is probably one of the core ramp. Like by turn 3, we could technically have this out. So what does that look like? 1 path forward, 1 path forward, 1 path to the left. Mix of air, sorry, mix of fire. Infernal Legion on the space that was just before us will have to take 3 damage, but this will start nuking everything they've played up until now.
Yeah, I mean, if we play it on turn 4, like wait a turn just so that we can get one more to the left, and then we place this to the rightmost, then we're safe. It starts burning down the entire side of the board that they can play on.
I like it. I like it. I'll put
Yeah.
2 in the deck for now. We're obviously gonna reduce the amount of magics that are in this deck, but you can do the same path and times. Oh wait, what's this? You can do the same path 3 times of firebolts. Okay. Yeah, I mean, doing 3 damage in a concentrated burst seems good to me. I don't know. Between Heat Ray and Firebolt, I'm not really sure which one I prefer. We'll just do 2 and 2 for now. Start diversifying. Banish target minion nearby and everything it's carrying. Disintegrate. Banish target minion. This so banish is exile. Hmm.
Figured.
That's pretty good, dude. Again, we're going to reduce the amount of spells we have in a few. Don't worry. This is not the full deck. We're going to go well over the 50 spell mark in a second, though. Or rather, 40. We're already well over the 40 cards. Deals 7 damage to target minion nearby. Immolation. That seems overkill. But it's only 1 mana. This is like the frogs, basically, where it's 1 mana, 3 threshold for immolation. It does 7 damage. That seems good for nuking something. I
Uh,
feel a little iffy on it though.
I think a pretty good unit for us to get is Cerberus, because it
Cerberus
links
and
with,
chains.
yeah, Cerberus and Chains, because we're moving around constantly. It can't move by itself, but it will follow all of our movements. So it's just a super fast unit because we have a super fast avatar.
100% agree. Minor explosion deals 3 damage to each unit at target location up to 2 steps away. That's amazing. I think Minor Explosion for Pathfinder's great. What do you feel about Meteor Shower, Will?
Uh,
Target 3 sites that share no border. Deals damage to each unit atop sites in each area affected. This is like a real bomb, but I'm not sure it's. This is weird.
yeah. So let's
It's a little
see.
costly.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good in the late game, but and when the board's flushed out, the issue is that we're probably controlling most of the board.
Mm-hmm. This turn, double an allied minion's power, and whenever it attacks and kills a unit, it untaps. At the end of turn, it dies. I like Warp Spasm. It really depends on what we're rolling with minion wise. But because the attack action is coupled with movement, you can actually get some fair mobility with whatever unit's attacking. If said unit is Infernal Legion, we can get it the heck away from us before we end its turn. It will die ultimately, but it's a good way to start killing things, I guess, start slaughtering things with that. How does Infernal, let me read this guy one more time. Is that at the end of your turn? Yeah. So we could
Yep.
still do the 3 damage before it dies. Those are both what we would call a delayed trigger in Magic. So I would assume you'd be able to stack those. They don't reference a stack in this game, but you could stack those. All right, I think we're done with spells. I'm interested in, let me see, Major Explosion. Target location up to 2 steps away, deal damage to each unit at location in the area of effect. Man, Major Explosion's really good too, dude. Yeah, I'm all about this explosion shit. I think we're gonna get rid of some cards here. We're gonna have to take a second to figure out what. But let's go ahead and look at minions now for these colors. I guess minions and artifacts. Whoop. Not minions and artifacts, minions and auras. Okay, so we're making a lot of mana. How many early game plays do we care to see in this deck, would you say? Like, what are we
Uh,
trying to curve out to?
We probably don't need many early game effects. I think our early game is probably just going to be ramp and setup for the most part, because our idea is to try to play a couple of the bigger bomb things to either find Yggdrasil and then do the Yggdrasil thing, or to get out big things and then take over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Yggdrasil is just a side strategy for us. Like, if we can blow up Yggdrasil, fantastic. Like, there's no, that's like, it's just a good play. We could even do a Lava Salamander if we wanted a separate spellcaster. And for some of the effects that like nuke an area, it takes no damage from fire spells. So Lava Salamander is not a bad additional spellcaster. Again, though, I feel like we don't need it because of the simple fact that you know, we're moving our spellcaster so close. I feel like we're always going to be within range.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
out
if we want to kind of go with that whole snake strategy that we were talking, or not really snake, but if we want to go for the
Mega
next
Amoeba.
orb blocking thing, we can do Maze Minotaur. It just says enemy minions can't move themselves out of a maze of 9 locations nearby the Maze Minotaur.
So I don't know what is a maze because I've read this card.
I think it's you when it enters, you choose 9 locations, and those 9 locations just can't are locked off, like they're blocked off. You wall them in.
Of 9 oh, the 9 locations are the site it's on plus the 8 it's surrounded by.
I'm not sure.
Well, maze of 9 locations nearby maze minotaur. Nearby suggests adjacent and to its corners, and then also the spot it's on top of. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that's what a maze is. Sorry. So this is interesting. Enemy minions can't move themselves out of a maze of 9 locations. So they're just they're confined to that area. That's kind of
yeah.
cool.
Mix that
Uh,
with the Infernal Legion, we just burn shit down.
True. I really love the Cerberus in chains, by the way. It's probably one of my favorites. There's also, I think we should probably look at our early game. Is there a way to filter this by cost? There we go. Okay, so early game. Burrow Lethal, Pit Vipers. This is just a really good piece of interaction for oncoming attacks. Like if someone's swinging a 7 at us, we can defend with this 1 cost 1 damage Pit Viper, and it has Death Touch. It feels okay because we've got so much stuff to remove those things, but maybe we remove some of these magics. I know we went overkill here. I know. But we're gonna remove some of these magics and maybe put in some Pit Vipers. I'll put one of those for now. There's also auras we're going to be seeing within here. We don't need the camels. Sorry. Will-o-wisps are attacked. They may teleport to a nearby void or location to evade the attack. Huh. That's kind of cool. Will-o-wisp.
Yeah,
It's
they're
only,
just fleety and annoying boys.
I
Uh,
mean,
I
it's
don't,
only
I don't
one.
hate it, but
It's only 1 damage though. Feels a little iffy.
yeah.
Well, actually, but the thing is, because it has Void Walk, what we could do is if we turn 1 Will-o-wisp, if we happen to be lucky enough to hit a fire site and turn 1 Will-o-wisp, we could just place it adjacent our opponent, their avatar, and start pressuring them immediately, right? So next turn we attack with Will-o-wisp, and we can just constantly attack them, retaliate, like run away, attack them, run away. It's not so bad. It's just a nuisance, really. And then
Yeah,
obviously late game, it's very good as just an additional blocker if we needed it, because it's only 1 cost.
maybe. Yeah, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I'll put 1 in. This one's really good though. Will, if you haven't seen Sacred Scarabs, so it's a 2 mana 1 flyer
With Death
airborne.
Ray blow up the area. Yeah, they did a video on it. So there's a short on their YouTube channel
Oh,
explaining Death Ray.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good effect. I don't know how many of those we actually roll with, but it's there. Rimland Nomads is cute. Lava Salamander we already talked about. I like Salamander. Tap Forest Assassin's frozen artifact he carries. This is for a specific build. Beast of Burden may carry any number of allied minions. It's cool, not necessary. Seasoned Sellsword is interesting. Again, high rate, but there is the issue that avatars can discard a card to gain control of Seasoned Sellsword. It's fine. I don't know, 2 for 4. We can start pressuring them pretty early. It's not bad. I don't want to get into the game of discarding cards though to get it back, so I'm not interested in that. And
Um, we can do or sorry, no, we're still on minions. Never mind. I'll
dude,
mention more.
what about Swiven Scout?
What's
2
our
for
movement?
2, movement +1. Enemy avatars within Swiven Scout's range of motion play with their hands revealed. Dude,
That's kind of gimmicky more than anything else.
I don't know, Will. That's kind of my thing. You don't like
We
that?
don't, Patrick, we don't care about seeing what our opponents do. We don't even care about seeing what we're gonna do. We're Rambo rolling all of our freaking lands out. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know where anything's gonna land. It happens.
All right, all right, all right. Genesis may deal 2 damage to target adjacent unit. Vile Imp.
Pseudo haste or pseudo charge, my bad.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're gonna be adjacent them immediately. So
Yeah,
I don't know. That seems pretty good. Look,
yeah.
I don't know how many low end dudes we're actually rolling with. Wayfaring Pilgrim's kind of cute for us because we could technically connect to the corners of the realm very easily. So whenever Wayfaring Pilgrim enters each corner of the realm for the first time, you may draw a card. With 7 League Boots, it's a lot of draw. I gotta say though, it's like maybe a little too cheeky.
Yeah. Um, hmm. We can probably get them in the corner very quickly. The issue is, I don't think we're going to be using our own corners.
Mm-mm. Do you like Jihad? You may summon fire minions to affected sites. Allied fire minions occupying affected sites have +1 power.
Uh,
Seems pretty good. Although, again, this kind of mobility isn't quite necessary for us because we are placing ourselves right into the fray. The Anthem effect on the back end of this is actually quite good, though. So,
yeah, I do like the anthem part. It makes stuff like Will-o'-the-Wisp a little bit better.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It changes combat math quite a bit.
One thing that I did like was ice wall or wall of ice as an option. It's
There's Wall of Ice and Wall of Fire. Did you see
yeah,
Wall of
I don't
Fire?
like wall of fire. Wall of fire feels kind of dumb because they could
Oh,
just say, ah, screw it, we'll throw a big thing through it. But wall of ice just says things can't traverse past this wall on the ground.
Minions with airborne, wall of air, sorry, wall of ice. Yeah. Conjure, units can't traverse wall. I don't mind it. I don't
Yeah,
mind
it
it.
just stops our opponent's avatar from moving forward pretty quickly.
It's a good little filtration device. I mean, I think I would almost rather just kill the things with my mana,
Yeah, probably.
right?
I
Because
only like it. I like it because we can box in the enemy avatar a little bit.
it's true. No, that's true. That's true. We'll take a second gander at it in a second. I want to get through the rest of these minions here. I don't know if we want to roll with any more artifacts beyond what we have. The mixes, the 7 League Books, and the Land Deed. There are a couple of strategies happening in this deck right now, and I think we'll probably need to solidify what we go for, and we can sort of base that off of how playable the spells are, but also the probability of those things actually happening for us. It's important to note that we're not rolling with any tutors in this deck, so it's not like we can set up any of these combos easily. Air has a few tutors, Earth has a few tutors, excuse me. We're not rolling with any. You may discard a card a random You may discard a random card rather than pay the spell's mana cost. 3 for 3. No.
No.
Cerberus is good. I agree with you. Quarrelsome Kobolds, I don't find good. But they're fun if you place them next to your opponent. Actually, for us, these might be good. At the end of your turn, Quarrelsome Kobold strikes themselves or another target adjacent unit. Because we're going up front and center, at the end of turn, you're logically going to be doing 2 damage to your opponent every single turn.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, because we're getting on like turn 3, we're probably getting that out into our opponent's face, so
Yeah.
seems good.
Yeah, and it will be targeting them. How do you feel about Outback Strider, Will? Moves freely between lands not occupied by other units.
So it just has unlimited movement as long as it's a unoccupied land.
Correct.
I mean, we have lands everywhere. Lands are being put everywhere. That's just free movement across everything. Yeah, it's everywhere all the time. Be afraid.
uh, how about Gross Poltergeist? Until Gross
Yeah, it's
Poltergeist leaves the realm, gain control of nearby artifact and animate it. It's an automaton with power equal to its cost. Huh.
uh
Well,
my
here's
issue is it has to be a nearby artifact, so you're either doing it on your stuff or you're doing it on your opponent's stuff, and it's probably gonna die if you try doing it on your opponent's stuff, since it's really working on yours and we don't have a ton of artifacts.
oh, dude. Yeah, Mateus, I agree with you. Quarrelsome Kobolds has really good flavor text. He started it, says the one that started it. Yeah, that's amazing. Poltergeist is cute. I feel like this could be really cool. Again, we're always going to be within range to be nearby, practically. So Poltergeist is really good at doing the thing, but because it's only an artifact, I'm a little iffy on it. If it could steal a minion as well, that'd be really cool. But maybe that's a little too good. Dragonets at the end of your turn. Call Lucky Dragonets shoots a projectile. It deals 1 damage. Hell yeah! A 3 for 3 a 3 for 3 that shoots a projectile that does 1 damage. So I need to look at how damage is removed if it's during the same step as this. Do you know what I'm saying? But like,
Now, if you want to do something dumb, poison dagger with this so that that 1 damage is lethal.
okay, well that's another sub strategy. I agree with you though. That's actually kind of
Death
funny.
touch fingers, let's go. That also works with the Infernal Legion.
Mm, true. Oof, God, true. Is it necessary though? Wait, when is damage removed? That's what I need to see because I've actually not come into a situation where. Let me just look this up really quick. If you in the audience know, let me know. Because I assume it's like within an order of the step or phase. Yeah. Okay, end phase. Trigger abilities that happen at the end of turn. Step 2 is players remove all damage from their minions. So yes, the dragons could attack something, and then potentially deal 1 damage to them to kill them, or like you can further remove things with this if you've done damage throughout the turn. The dragons are not bad. I'm gonna put some dragons in here. I actually like the Clamor of Harpies quite a bit. Let me see here. So Bane Widow is cool. It's almost like a monster hunter. Genesis may kill target minion here. So you summon it to a site, it will automatically kill whatever was threatening your life, essentially. I think that's just okay though. Hillick
There's a
Basilisk is a bit.
better version. There's a better version of that. It's 7, so it is expensive, but I think it's also 2 fire and it says destroy all other minions. It's just a nuke. Yeah, it's right there bottom right on your list.
The Death Dealer.
Yeah, Death Dealer.
I kind of dig that. Yeah, I actually really
Putting
dig
like
that.
a Death Dealer isn't a horrible idea.
It's a unique, so we only get the one Death Dealer, sir.
Yeah.
But how about Clamor of Harpies? Teleport target weaker minion to this location. Clamor of Harpies may strike it. Airborne. Yo, so this in my mind feels like such a high rate. So for 4 mana, you're getting a 3-cost flyer. It's important to note that flyers, uh, you can't attack into flyers. You need to defend against flyers, right? Because unless you also have airborne or some form of reach. So what you could do with this is, because you're setting up yourself in like advantageous positions, you can play out Clamor of Harpies, remove their mana dork, remove one of their foot soldiers, whatever. It could be anything. But you're teleporting their thing to you, and then you can fly Harpies later to start attacking their sites. I think it's really good. It's removal and something that's going to help you put damage on the board.
Yeah, agreed. I do like Harpy. It's 4 mana, kill a thing, and then you have a very annoying minion to deal with.
So good. Yeah, it's so good. And it's a May strike. So what you could do, because the way this reads, it doesn't say enemy minion or allied minion. It could be one of your things. So if all I wanted to do was teleport one of my bodies closer to my opponent, I could technically do that too. Right? So there are options here. But I like that one a lot. Hillick Basilisk is kind of a pain in the ass, dude. Other minions at rest here or 1 step in front of Hillick Basilisk are disabled. So at rest, when I read that, I thought it meant tapped. That's not what it means. It just means that if it is standing on this site or 1 step in front of it, it's disabled. This is a really good way to lock out minions. I don't know that it's my favorite of the cards. Again, I would rather just kill things. I would almost always rather remove things, except against reanimate deck.
Removal as well. We have a ton of
Yeah.
removal already.
You were interested in Minotaur, Maze Minotaur.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting card, but not really.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
it's not worth it. I think that we have enough removal and disruption and interaction for the most part.
Oh, we got so much stuff to cut too, because we'll need to lock down our strategy and build out our sites. But what my goal is with all of this, guys, is to ultimately construct this deck and then provide you all feedback on Pathfinder. Ultimately, Will and I are going to get Tabletop Simulator set up here on the channel, and the goal is to get some gameplay for you guys. So the next time we build a deck, which should hopefully be quicker, we're sort of educating ourselves on this with you, talking strategy, but ultimately is to build decks and play them on the same stream. But we'll get to doing that in the future. At any rate, but this will be one deck we feature for sure. And this is a deck that I'm hoping to build out and play in paper. I have a majority of these cards, fortunately. Okay. Burrowing Landbound, not very good, Sandworm. Genesis, conjure a broken artifact to this location. Scavenger Fiend, it's kind of cute if you use it in conjunction with the mixes. I don't think that is necessary. The Berserker is really sick though. So whenever Tivanak's Berserker can attack a unit, it must. Untap Berserker whenever it attacks and kills an enemy minion. So the only qualm here is that this can feasibly die, right? So it'll swing until it takes enough damage to die. But it is good at clearing. Again, I think with all of our magics and our mobility, I feel like we'll be able to kill stuff better that way. Affected sites aren't water sites and provide no water threshold. We're not going to pigeonhole one group of players. I think that's fine.
Wildfire is funny, but not fantastic.
You don't think so?
No, it's a high cost for like dealing 3 damage to a couple things. We have better board clears.
I'm 100% on board with Death Dealer. Because it's just another variation on our Yggdrasil, but it's self-enclosed,
Yep.
right? And then, we'll have all the sites to place that wherever the hell we want, really. Doesn't strike back while defending. So the Cyclops is not great. Again, you kind of want to be able to strike back to help remove things. I'm not
Yeah.
super high on Cyclops. I think we have better
And then
options.
for one more fire, we get no negative downside and deal 3 damage to all the adjacent units.
Some negative downside. I mean, I guess you can consider
No, it
because
is no downside. OP skeleton boys.
yeah, wait to play it at the opportune moment. Chimera can simultaneously attack up to 3 units at the same location. Normally, you can like double defend, triple defend, and like that's how your opponent elects to participate in combat. Chimera switches it up and it allows you to make those selections for them, and typically bad ones. I don't think that this is as good in Infernal Legion or the Death Dealer, and we need to weigh our other options. So I'm iffy on the Chimera. Airborne Phoenix, 5 for 4. If Ascalon Phoenix would take damage from a fire spell or ability, it gains 1 power this turn instead. With all of our bombs, I think that this is actually quite good. Like we can, do you know what I mean? We can do a explosion on a site and this gets hit. It kills things on that site and this is just there and it's 5 power instead, which is to say it's going to do 1/4 of our opponent's total health. It
Yeah.
feels okay. It feels okay. I
We
don't know.
don't have a ton of like uncontrolled bomb things though. I think it's like Cone of Flames are only one where it hits an area we don't get to choose.
Right. What are we rolling with? We've got fire bolts. Technically we've got fire bolts in the deck. We could ping it and get it started and then weaken something on that site. Scorched Earth is not one of them. Blaze, technically, we can move an ally through its path and then deal, 2 damage to it, but it's from a fire source, so that would also do it. We should look at Ancient Dragon really quickly. Deal 4 damage to each other unit at target location nearby. That's actually quite good. I believe if you're summoning sick, you can't use an ability, so you'll have to wait, but that's not bad.
Yeah.
I still think Infernal Legion's better.
Yeah, Infernal Legion's just kind of freaking insane. You don't have to wait and it's just a 6/6. It'll attack and burn. Like it's insane.
So that's it for the auras and minions from fire. I think we can look at water. The only things we haven't really covered are sites and artifacts. But Will, before we do that, I need to take one step out for a second. Feel free to entertain. I'll put you guys on to wow, wait, this is by cost? I'm so confused. This doesn't look like it's by cost. I think we're missing cards here. No way.
It's doing it by alphabetical order for me.
Well, here. By trending? I don't care what's trending. No. This cannot be the top end. I know that there's like a 6 for 12 freaking creature. Do you see I don't see a way to like change the page we're on.
Do you know the name of the card?
No. It's like Leviathan, something Leviathan.
There is no card named Leviathan.
It floods all sites. Great, a unique monster. Great
There
old
we go.
one. Genesis permanently fled the entire realm, including voids. So there's that 8 for 3 minion. Am I wrong? Why is that not showing up in the search?
I don't know.
Well, we'll need to fix that.
So it's a great old one. Let's see if I can find it. And just doing the standard search. Water minion alphabetical A B C D. You found it? Yeah, it is there. If you do alphabetical, it's the third line, like dead center. Or sorry, it'll be like a little bit different for you. I think it might be. Sorry, it's yeah, it should be like fourth line for you probably.
There it is. That's so
Yeah.
weird. Well, at any rate, Will, we can do it alphabetically this time. I'll be right back. Feel free to.
Alrighty.
Great old one. Thank you, Forked. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to roll with Great Old One. I think we have a very definite strategy going here. It doesn't involve the Great Old One, but We'll talk about that in a second. Let them know what your thoughts are so far.
Yeah. I mean, it's the game seems fun. I'm not terribly invested in it yet, just because I haven't had a chance to play the game. Once I play a couple games of it, I'll kind of understand the play style a good amount better, and I'll probably enjoy this. Sorcery might become a more permanent fixture for the channel, hopefully. Um, but yeah, tis a cool game. I'm looking forward to seeing all the random BS strategies that people can come up with. But yes. So does anybody have any recommendations for the deck that we might have missed or might have gone over or already passed? Just random things for the deck, because the idea for the deck is turbo towards our opponent, and then we just kind of try to
Nothing.
lock him out and take over everything. Hello. I
What
just
a,
asked the chat if they have any recommendations for anything that we may have missed or gone over that we might want to take a second look at.
with a new wood is wild. Great old one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no recommendations so far, but
that's fine. We'll figure it out. Well, okay.
we might see some stuff in a bit though.
Abundance. Each affected site provides one additional mana. Well, that seems
Ramp,
excessive. Yeah, it's five. It's a
ramping.
5 cost or a ramp though. That's like by the time you get there. Yeah, I'm super iffy on that. Again, it's really hard to evaluate what are the best choices for these decks without knowing your matchup, but I think we'll try to find what's generically good for Pathfinder in just a second here when we weed out our spellbook. When a unit kills a cursed albatross, kill that unit's other allied minions it's nearby. It kills everything.
Uh,
I,
yeah, apparently.
so other allied minions it's nearby. That is 9 squares.
Yeah. Your opponent's usually choosing this though, unless you're attacking in with the Albatross to nuke it. But we already have a good amount of removal, so
Okay, maybe it's a little too cute. I
it's
still think it's
airborne
good.
though. Actually, your opponent really doesn't have a choice on it. It's airborne, so maybe.
Maybe, unless they just kill it offhandedly with like a spell.
Yeah.
I would rather just use my spells to kill their things, though. Hmm. Well,
Uh,
I think it's not a bad minion, though. I think this was suggested in the chat, though. Anui Undine.
yeah. I
Oh,
knew
you're
he was hunted.
suggesting because you flood the whole plane, this becomes a 20 power. Yeah, that's good. That's kind of good.
I mean, if we want to do that as like a really dumb, fun closer, we could.
No, Will, no, no. Too many things going on here. But yeah, I do think it's a fun, dumb closer. Affected non-ordinary sites are flooded. They are water sites. No, I don't want to deal with anything that's specific to water. When Captain Baldassare attacks a unit or site, the defending player discards their topmost 3 spells. You may cast each of those spells once this turn, ignoring threshold requirements. Is Captain Baldassare good?
Uh,
It's card advantage. We're ramping like crazy. So let's just say that we do Pathfinder, 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 Pathfinder. Play Baldassare. Who knows what other spells we've been playing up until this point. Pathfinder again next turn. We have 5 mana. We attack a site with Baldassare. So he attacks a unit or a site. So they can like defend whatever. Doesn't matter. Defending player discards their top 3 most spells. We can cast them ignoring their threshold. And we have 5 mana leading into this. That seems pretty. That sounds like card advantage to me, man. That seems good.
yeah, it is, and it's if our opponent has any kind of unique strategy, we're burning through it. So
Yeah, they need to because it's a they discard, right? So unless they
yeah,
have a reanimate package, this is bad, but it's a one of. I feel good with that.
yeah. It's also if we hit our opponent's one ofs, then they're very sad.
Court Jester is kind of cute. At the end of your turn, each nearby avatar discards a random card. So obviously, what you want to do is have the Jester set up. This might be a deck for the Jester, mind you, because when we play it, it just needs to be nearby. So it could always be at the corner of the opposing avatar. Elsewise, the avatar could kill this because it's only one defense. But doing this does make us susceptible to it, but we will always have the ability to use Pathfinder to move away. So I don't know, man. What do you think? Is
Uh, so the issue is if we're doing like the blitz strategy where we're running at the opponent, then trying to cut them off. The court jester is either going to be adjacent to the enemy Pathfinder, or it's going to affect us and the enemy Pathfinder. So we can't have it nearby but not adjacent to the enemy, and not nearby us.
it's certainly not the first thing we do.
Yeah, if
I
we do
don't
this
mind
like
it.
later, we can burn down stuff, but early, we cannot play this early, pretty much.
I like it. If there's only two, I like it. I think that it's pretty solid value and low threshold. Like we can get this down. And then the other issue there is that because we're only drawing from our spell book and they have to elect whether it's a site or a spell book they draw, we are narrowing down their value turn after turn if we get this in an advantageous position. So I don't mind. Draw the bottommost spell of your deck, Deep Sea Mermaids. If Deep Sea Mermaids were a spellcaster, I'd say they were good, but they're not a spellcaster, and I don't think they're good. Submerge tap surface to strike each other unit nearby. It's kind of cool. I'm good on that though, so far as 8 drops are concerned. I mean, I don't know. Is that no? I'm good. Can leap entirely over adjacent sites in one step. Fell bog frog. It's okay. The Great Old One's really cool, but we're not going to use it. Giant Shark, you definitely need, it's waterbound, so you definitely need a strategy for that. Whenever Ghost Ship enters a site from Void, you may summon a spirit from any cemetery to its location. They need to be spirits, mind you, so you could technically steal cards, but it's really dope. Again, I don't think that's part of our strategy. Fey Changeling, you may return a minion here to its owner's hand. This is a really good tempo card. It's a really good tempo card. It's 3 mana though, but it's a good way. It's a good defensive measure. Or if you have something with a good Genesis, it's good. It's a 1-drop. Guile Sirens, at the start of your turn, force target nearby minion to take a step towards Guile Sirens.
That's funny if we use it with bottomless pit.
Yeah, that is actually funny. We're not on Bottomless Pit yet, but we could be. Lord of Unland. Other allies occupying Lord of Unland's body of water have +1 power. Mariner's Curse we talked about. So this is really cool, repeatable removal, but it needs to be on a water site. So again, I don't know if we get there. Mother Nature. At the start of your turn, reveal your topmost spell. If it's a minion, you may summon it here. Wow. Yo, she's cool. Thoughts on Mother Nature? We've got a pretty rich. If we did like minion tribal, I think it would be really good.
Well, the issue is that the one minion that we really want to hit is Infernal Legion, and then that's going to enter and immediately kill Mother Nature.
No. Yeah, Mama Nature don't like that. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Muckland Praise is just sealed fodder, draft fodder. Same thing with old Salt Anchorman. Nearby allies can't be moved. It's fine. You don't really do that. This one, deal 1 damage to target minion above or below. Nah, we don't care about that. Pirate Ship, we don't care about. Polar Bears is cute. We don't care about it. Sea Serpent, don't care about. Sea Raider. Whenever Raider attacks and kills an enemy, its controller discards their topmost spell. This is the same thing as the other pirate, just 3-drop. But its requirements are different. It needs to kill an enemy. But you may cast a spell ignoring its threshold. I don't know. Do we need 2 of these in the deck? Well, technically 4. We can have 3 of these exceptionals and the 1 unique.
I don't know. I mean, we could. It's pretty much just more draw for us, so we could if we really wanted to.
We honestly might need more draw in this way.
Yeah, I like it.
I really don't mind this because it's removing options from our opponent as well. let's just add the 3 for now because we still need stuff for the low end. This I really like, Ruler of Thule. I think with what we're doing, so when we push them to this Connect 4 zone, if we ramp into Ruler of Thule, it has charge. Allies can move as if the top and bottommost edges of the realm were connected. So Magellan's Globe is it's universal, if I'm not mistaken. This is asymmetrical. It's just going to apply to us. So we can
That is
make
fantastic. Because if
right.
we go all the way to the left and they start playing to the right, then we just hop over to the right. So that does work.
This is
Uh,
so
the
good.
the globe also isn't too bad because we're just straight up blocking off the enemy, unless it can flip as well. Like you can go from the top and place on the bottom.
Hmm.
Can globe do that, or is it just left
Let's look
right?
at. I think we 100% put Ruler of
Oh
Thule
wait,
though,
hold on.
because it's also an anthem. Are you looking at Magellan's Globe right now?
No, I'm looking at ruler of Thule, and I'm like, wait, allies can move as if the top and bottom edges of the realm are
It's not
connected.
the. It's not
We
the
need
left and
left
right.
and right. Left and right is what we care about.
Yeah, yeah. I still think it's good though because we should be able to get to. I mean, if we wanted to start building on the opposite end again, we could, right? But what we could do is we could go around them and then go up into our starting zone again, and then start laying across that starting zone and have minions summoned there, move over and attack. Magellan's Globe, it can.
Yeah, so Magellan's Globe lets you do left and right, whereas or left, right, up and down. Ruler of Thule lets you do just up and down.
Do
But
we need
the
Magellan's Globe? I guess is what we're saying.
no, because then we unlandlock our opponent.
Well, it'll be a race though, right? Well, that's true. Yeah. No, we don't want to give them that option.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to give them that option. Okay. Although I do think it is actually good for, going from left to right, which is what we want. I understand the theme of Ruler Thule. I do think it pigeonholes it a little bit. Although I will say being able to give an anthem to our minions, like I was mentioning off the bat, generally speaking, people don't move their minions away from that starting area, not typically, unless forced to. So I feel like we could maybe comfortably get up in their
We can
face and then benefit from +1 power.
we can still use him, yeah.
Yeah, I still think he's really good. Let's see here. Allied units here can move if the top and bottommost edge of the realm are connected. So Polar Explorer, same thing as Ruler of Thule. Sedge crabs, 1 for 3, can only move themselves sideways. Will, thoughts?
I mean that's actually funnily good with the whole Connect Four strategy because we just have crabs blocking off that top line.
You hate it? You love it?
It, it's a thing. It is very much definitely a thing that can be done.
That's so funny. So turn 2, I play 2 crabs, sedge crabs. Go.
Yeah, it's like turn one you just move forward, turn two you can move forward and then just go crab, crab. I'm going to start moving this way. And then when I set up for that way, the crab's going to move that way.
It's actually kind of cool. Yo, do you see this? Wait, okay, so better than crabs. 6 cost, 1 threshold. 6 damage. Immune to non-lethal damage.
So
You
it can't get
have
chipped down. You have to just club it in one hit.
so outside of a berry or outside of anything that's just gonna murk it regularly, this has got some real lasting power.
Really good against red, really good with our red spells because that means that
Yeah, we
the
can burn
AoE
it.
damage effects that we have don't hurt it at all, and it doesn't get hurt by our Infernal Legion.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I like the crabs too. I don't know if they fit into the deck, but I do like the crabs. Self same simulacrum must be maybe summoned as a basic copy of a nearby minion. A basic copy? A basic copy? What is that even?
I think that means that it doesn't include any of the enhancements, edits, modifications, buffs, nothing like
Hmm.
that.
So silence is an aura I used in my draft recently, and I gotta say it was pretty good. Minions occupying affected sites lose all non-basic abilities. This does affect us, but in some instances it could be a great equalizer. Also, for our crabs, it technically means they can move forward.
That's funny.
Because we're gonna move up to the zone where silence is gonna be played definitely on our sites and then definitely on their
Yeah,
sites.
that is hilarious how we could, if we really wanted, just have the crabs move left and right, then go to the aura, have them move up, and then go left and right up here, then move back down, then go left and right up here.
I mean, are we on crab control?
That's a different version of the deck, but I think that's a very funny
I
version of the
know.
deck.
I like that a lot too. All right, there's only so many more cards we need to go through before we get to our sites, gang. So we got Swamp Buffalo, 1 for 2. Every color has one of those. Airborne Submerge, Swan Maidens. These are quite good. These are really good against Drown. Again, a burrow will kill this though. Submerge. This site is flooded. It's a water site. Tide Naiads. That's kind of cool. Huh. That is kind of cool. I don't know if we're on that kind of strategy. Tring Constrictor. Tap. Tring Constrictor may take a step, then it constricts target minion here and carries it disabled. The next time Tring Constrictor would untap, it instead kills that minion if it's still constricted.
We have enough removal, right?
Yeah. The next time it would untap, instead it kills the minion, so it does not untap. It's weird. It's weird. So we're also down to Wall of Ice. I gotta say, like, if Wall of Ice cantripped, I'd be 100% down for it.
Yeah.
I feel like just setting up a barrier and saying nah is maybe not enough, because I would rather just kill the thing. I don't know, dude.
I agree. I can agree with it to some extent. I just thought Wall of Ice is a little bit interesting to block people in, but it's not like game ending.
No, sadly no. All right, I think Pit Vipers is just a better form of the pufferfish, and I'm not even sure we want to be on either because I'm not sure we need to brick like that. But it's at this point where I think we need to cut some spells out of our deck. So let's go back to the deck list and look over everything. Okay, guys, so right now we're at 6138 for our affinities, and this can change in a second. We do not have all of our sites, mind you. But we have a lot of magics, a handful of minions, and a dream. So Land Deed is a combo that we're going to be running as suggested by Forked here with the Mega Amoeba. So we can have up to 2 Mega Amoebas in our deck. Mega Amoeba, again, just to illustrate, does this. We don't have too many mobility effects in the deck outside of the boots and I think Blaze as it stands, but I feel like this is a separate... Land Deed Mega Amoeba is a separate strategy from build out Yggdrasil and or build out Death Dealer. Am I
Yeah.
wrong? Well, I mean, we're not destroying sites, so I guess it will play. Mega Amoeba, I guess what I'm saying is Mega Amoeba, Yggdrasil kind of play counter each other. But which
What
is
we
better for Pathfinder, I guess is what I'm saying, because we can't elect to do Yggdrasil. It just happens if it happens, and we can do obviously Crossroads helps us get there, but because dig 4 when that ETBs, like that's damn near 1/4 of our sites or our atlas. So like we could kind of get to Yggdrasil and do the thing if we really wanted to, but that also requires there's a lot of moving parts for this. It would either be a sinkhole right next to it or our burn spell, Scorched Earth.
So I'm not the biggest fan of trying to do the Yggdrasil thing, but it's fine having it in there. I think what's regularly going to happen is either we do the Yggdrasil thing and then we play Mega Amoeba, or we play Mega Amoeba and we wait to do the Yggdrasil thing.
Right. And again, Scorched Earth is the opportunity card. So choose any number of sites you control, destroy each of those sites. What's interesting though is that Scorched Earth still plays well in tandem with Mega Amoeba, because we can begin to control their sites and then like nuke them.
Yeah.
So that's still
I
not a bad strategy.
yeah. The only thing I'm a bit iffy on is we play our own Yggdrasil, then our opponent blows it up with their own strip mine style effect.
I think I'm okay
So,
with that. I honestly think I'm okay with that though,
all right.
because I think we still have the advantage there, unless they've played out a ton of those Earth lands, the bedrocks. Like I'm fine with them if that's what you want to do. Go for it. And obviously, it puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage because we didn't get to elect when that happened. I still don't mind. It's weird. It's going to put us in a weird stalemate, but I still feel like we're the better for it. That
Yeah.
makes sense. All right, so we've got
All
some
right.
things to cut for sure. So I think the first things we need to look at are our magics. Is Major Explosion worth it in the deck? 7 cost, 2 threshold. I don't think so. We're gonna put this off to the side. I think we want our spells to be low cost, high impact.
Yeah. For the most part, like we want our minions to be our bomb things because we want them to actually control out the locations, and we want our spells to just be
Correct.
like keep interaction.
So on that same note, Flame Wave, in my opinion, also sideboard.
Yeah,
It's
it's
6
gimmicky.
costs. It's taking the spot of something else that we'd rather be able to play. Infiltrate, I put in the deck. It's a gain control of target minion until it deals damage. Tap it, it gains stealth. So in a lot of instances, this is just a good way to swipe your opponent's best thing. And then what you could do is, if it's a flyer, keep it in a location that's good to get the felling blow. And then, it doesn't really matter. It is stealth. So stealth in this game, it can be lost. But the way stealth works is nothing can target it for like effects or abilities. The character is relatively safe just being near their avatar for that felling blow, unless they do some AoE effect. As soon as it does damage, though, stealth is lost, but of course, because of the effect, it will also be sent back to our opponent. I've used Infiltrate to steal like giants and shit. Like it's very good for making sure that we're not overcome by a big threat. But I don't know that it's like crucial to our strategy. I mean, like, what do we have to just clear an 8 drop? Or what do we have to clear like an 8 power card? I guess the best thing we can do is just shrink it down and kill it.
Yeah, we have like polymorph effects, shrink effects, things like that.
So again, I guess we're just going to default to killing the thing. I would rather just kill the thing. Okay. Oh shit, I meant to sideboard that, but that's okay. Fireball is 4 damage. It's 4 damage, 2 splash damage. Is this overkill?
Yeah. We have better hard kill spells, we have better AoE on our minions. I think that we don't care.
Okay. Sidelined. Upwelling. This is our, it's not necessarily a chain of vapor, but it's similar. Target a nearby site. Return each artifact and minion there to its owner's hand. 4 mana. Man, we really gotta, well, look. I mean, if they played out their Philosopher's Stone and their core, and they got all this stuff, and they got these bodies on site, like, this could be really, like, the ceiling is super high, but the floor is extremely low. I
Yeah,
feel
I think
like,
having like one of these is probably fine because we can just target our opponent's avatar and all the equipment they have on it gets bounced to hand, and that
mhm,
can wreck a couple decks, but it's not like an insane auto include. I think one is fine.
yeah, I agree. War Spasm. This turn, double an allied minion's power, and whenever it attacks and kills a unit, it untaps. I really like War Spasm in tandem with our Harpies. I like War Spasm in tandem with a few things. It's a unique, so there's only one, and I feel like one is probably the threshold here. But what's cool is if Captain Beldessari gets this shit. Am I wrong? Yeah, whenever he attacks a unit or a site, like literally, we can discard top 3 cards, discard top 3 cards, and then get to start casting those. Depending on where we are mana wise, it was only 3 to go into War Spasm. So Baldessari is going to go insane, hopefully kill everything before dying, and then give us the potential to just like play a mess of their spells. I mean, thoughts on that? I think War Spasm's good.
Yeah, that and the blue hydra. It's pretty good with the blue hydra as well.
Oh yeah, and we get 2 of those. And mind you, some of this might be magical Christmas time land. We are drawing from our spell book every turn, but we only start with 3 cards. So it's important to note that some of these synergies are going to be tougher to find. We want to make sure that all of our cards play well together, and we don't have much by way of draw. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we have much. We don't have any draws outside of Vaults of Zul. So we might be in a weird spot, man. I don't know. Okay, moving on. We've got Minor Explosion. Deals 3 damage to each unit at target location up to 2 steps away. I personally like Minor Explosion a lot. I don't know if we need 4 of it, though.
I think we can do like two.
2, and then like
Yeah.
2 on the sideboard. We'll just do that. I say sideboard, I don't know. I don't know if Constructor actually has a sideboard. 65 in our spell book. We need to nix 15 more. These don't all need to be magics, mind you. I think we just need to find the balance of our magic. So 3 and double red for banish target minion nearby and everything it carries. It's pretty good, dude. So this is things that are like Zeppelin or that pack beast carrying a thing. And then obviously if it's carrying any artifacts, it's only a minion. Is this too high costed for what it's doing? We don't have any effective just zap effect though.
I do like this. The 2 red can be a little bit awkward for early plays, but I think it's fine. I do like it.
Right. It's in the same vein as Upwelling, right? Except that hits everything. This hits one thing, except it banish instead of tempo. Like they can replay an
Yeah,
Upwelling card. Do we need any of the Upwelling if we just play Disintegrate?
probably not.
Let's just sideline the.
Oh, the only reason why I recommended Upwelling was because you can target the avatar, whereas Disintegrate, I don't think you can target the avatar.
Well, you can target the site where the avatar's on. Correct.
Does
Yeah.
Disintegrate target the site or the thing?
No, Disintegrate targets the minion itself.
Yeah.
So
So
target minion nearby. We do need our avatar nearby, and we are always nearby. So
we can't get rid of any of the opponent's equipment on their avatar with this, but with the Upwelling we can.
true. Oh, so like against battle mage and stuff.
Yeah. That's
Upwelling
why like
is.
one Upwelling is fine, but
I think we go back at least one. Okay, yeah, it's fair. That's fair. I do like that. Heat ray, sir. This is ordinary spell. We've got 2 in the deck, so we could have 4. It's 3 cost. Shoot a piercing projectile, deals 2 damage to each to 1 unit at each location along its path. 2 damage. It's not bad.
yeah. And if we're doing the whole connect four thing, a straight line on our opponent's back row could just wipe everything, and we're probably going to get into the back row pretty quick. Um, Not bad, not insane, but it's
Mm.
fine. I think we could cut it, but I think we can keep it for now.
I mean, I think that Blaze is
It's better.
probably the better thing here. Yeah.
That's
So,
fair.
well, no, I mean, well, one is 1 mana less, so I still don't mind. Oh, I'm sorry, Heat Ray is actually 3 as well.
Yes, I think we can cut Heat Ray. We're fine with that.
I'll sideline Heat Ray because it's still a good way to just kill the opposing avatar when they get to Death's Door, where Blaze might still be out of range. I think we do want 3 Blazes though. Am I crazy for saying that?
We want blazes. We want them for movement because if we hit a blaze, we can do the connect four blocking thing a little bit better. Because if we go all the way
Mm.
to the left and they start playing on the right, we can blaze and then get all the way to the right.
Right. This will take us out of the Pathfinder's ability to tap and play a land because it will need to tap and move. But even still, I quite like it. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think we went all the places we can get. Ice Lance deals 3, then 2, then 1. I like this a lot because we are going to be able to set up how this projectile functions so well. I think that we do keep Ice Lance. I don't know if we keep Ice Lance at 4 though. Maybe we'll sideline 2, go from
yeah,
there.
it's the same as the heat ray. Like it's functionally the same, but a little bit better because we can do higher damage for the initial hit.
I think we load up on all the polymorphs we can get.
Yeah,
We're gonna roll with 2 polymorphs. We're gonna roll with the 1 immolation. It's 1 mana trip red, so we might not always get there, but 7 damage to target minion nearby. That's good. I think that's good. Pretty high rate.
I think we could probably remove it because we have enough things that just say kill a thing.
Honestly, between that and shrink. Well, so the thing is, well, okay. So we've got disintegrate 3 for 2, 3 and 2 threshold, where immolation is 1 and 3 threshold. Disintegrate just does it, and banish. This deals 7 damage only to target minion.
Yep.
Yeah, you might have a point there. I don't like the fact that it's only
They
target
hit
minion.
Avatar, I would say like
Oh,
100% let's go, but like
yeah, that is kind of weak. I would rather have something that just did splash damage and also affected the avatar, like the more of the minor explosions. Polymorph. Is this how you spell polymorph, by the way? Polli.
it depends. You can do I or Y.
All right,
Like I've seen a POLY and I've seen POLLI.
all right. So the dodge rolls are cute. We've got shrink. I still think shrink is great. Like I actually like rolling the 3 of these. Is that weird? Set the base power and toughness of nearby unit to 0 until your
Good.
next turn.
Tis good.
This is good. I don't know if we need 3, but I like it. Plague of
We can
Frogs is
we can cut some of our hard removal later. Plague of Frogs is a meme. We can cut Plague of Frogs.
you don't like it. 7 blockers.
Well, it's also the fact that it costs 7 blue. Like,
Oh my god.
or sorry, not 7 blue, 3 blue. It's a 3 blue to do, which feels hard.
So if you're going against a battle mage that has like the screaming skull on it, that's 7 draw. Oh, it's so good. We don't want to do that. Dodge roll at 3. This is a free instant speed spell.
We can probably completely cut it. Like, it's not bad, but we aren't planning on
No.
using it that frequently. Like,
No,
we
no, no,
have
no.
the blaze and the boots to try to move around, so we don't need it for movement, and we shouldn't need protection.
So we need to cut 16 cards technically. We don't need to cut 16 cards, mind you.
It's
Our
smart to cut 16 cards, though.
well, to just narrow us down to precisely what we want. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm not really high on the 1 drops here. Like the Pit Vipers, I don't care.
Yeah.
We should
We
be
ramp out so quickly that the 1 drops feel kind of unnecessary.
yeah, Will-O-Wisp is just annoying. It's exceptionally annoying, but is it
Yeah.
worth it? Well, actually, Will-O-Wisp with the dude who gives it +1 was is that's a cool anthem. Um, maybe Will-O-Wisp makes it back into the deck right now. I want to sideline it. Scarabs are interesting. So what happens here is if your opponent's at death's door and they have all the blockers in the world, if I ram Scarabs into one of their blockers, right? I just say I'm gonna attack
Kill
your
them.
avatar
Yeah.
here. Exactly. You kill the avatar, or you kill this, it kills the avatar. I think Scarabs are a good finishing note, and a really good threat in a lot of situations, and a really good blocker in a lot of situations. I don't know how many we run with though. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna hold off on that. Vile Imp is a 2 for 2 that does 2 damage to target adjacent unit.
It's
Dude,
not bad because it's like immediately kill a small thing or like damage the
just
opponent's
shock.
avatar.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
shock the.
'Cause as you were saying, this is a good way of triggering Death's Door.
Yeah. Also, like when you do a Pathfinder, should you be lucky enough to have hit 1 fire site, Vile Imp next turn, right? So my turn 2 looks really sweet with Vile Imp. I like Vile Imp a lot, man.
Yeah, agreed. I like
Shit,
him.
I almost like Vile Imp more than this.
Agreed. I like him better than Scarab.
Let's do negative. I mean, look, mind you, Airborne is very good. I do think that we probably want to. How many Vile Imps are we rolling with a full playset?
Uh, Potentially for now, I think we can do like a lower number until we made all of our cuts, but
Yeah, but it's like it's on the low end of the curve, so it's not like it's something we want to see late game. But even if we do see it late game, we should have
we can
sites
use it to
adjacent.
trigger Death's Door or use it to kill like a small thing or use it
Hmm.
like it's good throughout the entire game.
Right, because like 10 hits from a Vile Imp is enough for Death's Door. Technically 9 hits because it does 2 damages at ETBs. It's a good card. It's a good card. Mega Amoeba's cool. I think that Mega Amoeba without the so how many mobility things do we actually have? We just have Blaze. We
Blaze and
didn't
Boots.
Blaze and Boots. We didn't put Mad Dash in, mind you. So
I
Mad
don't.
Dash is yeah, it's cantrip and then give an ally +1 movement.
Maybe. I mean, that is kind of deck thinning, so we might be able to put Mad Dash in if we want.
Yeah, we put no draw effects. I would kind of want to look into some draw. Well, here's the thing though. I think we need the full play set of the obviously Baldassare, but also the where is he? Our boys. Where are the boys? The other guys that attack and Sea Raiders.
There you go. Yeah.
I do think that Sea Raiders might be necessary. Attacks and kills an enemy, its controller discards their topmost spell. Because this is going to give us advantage we need. Even if the cards aren't things we use, it's still advantageous. Um, Cerberus in Chains is just a really good defender for us. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't run Cerberus in Chains.
Yeah,
It could
agreed.
it could be hard to cast. All of the triple affinity things I'm looking really hard at. As a matter of fact, I kind of want to sideline War Spasm for that, although it's very good late game. No, it's still good late game. So
Yeah,
Mega
War
Meat,
Spasm's also just a board clear with our Hydra.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah, that's true. Quarrelsome Kobolds. So Quarrelsome Kobolds is doing the same thing essentially as our Vile Imps, but it does it every single turn.
Yeah. Um.
It's 3 for 2 instead of 2 for 2, though, mind you. And
Yeah. And it has a chance to kill itself if our opponent moves away from it fast enough.
mhm, like teleports away from it, yeah.
I still do like them.
Do you like them more than Vile Imp?
Uh,
Repeatable
I
value?
like Violent more just because our opponents can't block Violent, but they can block this.
Oh, the effect of this? Yeah. Well, no, the strike themselves are another. Um,
Strike is the same as attack, right?
no, I don't believe so. It's like if you were to strike something, it just does its damage to that thing.
Okay. So it's the same on that thing. I like it then. I do kind of like it.
We do need to cut some cards, though, mind you. We need to
I
cut 14 more cards. I feel like the kobolds are lesser in this instance. Hear me out. Only because we want to ramp out to some of these other things, and we've got a few things to cut. I think the dragons will probably nix as well. It's the same thing as the kobolds, except higher threshold, but better return. Honestly, like it's 3 damage on the attack, pings for 1, but projectile ping. Ooh
Yeah.
man, our curve is weird. How do I can I organize this by cost? I don't know how
It's
this is.
already organized by cost, I think, right?
Is that how it is? Okay, good, good, good.
Yeah.
Outback Strider. Is this as much of a shoe in as we think? It's 3 for 3, moves around our sites freely.
I mean, it can go pretty much anywhere at any time we need, but we don't need that for this strategy. I think we can cut it.
Mm, I agree. Court Jester, I'm still kind of a fan of because I would like to put them at a disadvantage if we could.
I think we're like an aggro deck, and Court Jester feels like a slow control card.
Okay, I don't mind that. Sea Raider, again, we want it. Clamor of Harpies. I honestly really love this card. I think at a threshold of 1, it's too good not to include, and we need some
Agreed.
airborne cards. It's very good. Captain Belisare, fantastic for us. Ruler of Thule, also fantastic for us. It's also a charger, mind you. It's other allies occupying sites, so it will still be 3 power, sadly. I think it could have benefited itself too. I don't think that would have been unfair, but it is what it is. Infernal Legion. This is our one of our bombs.
100%. That card is so good.
Yeah, yeah. I think Infernal Legion's fair. Hydra.
I do like Hydra, just because it will never die.
Yeah, and Death Dealer.
Yeah. Board wipe. Board wipe is good. I like it. Um,
So that actually puts us at 45 spellbook because we have the mixes, the boots, and the land deeds.
yeah.
So I
Uh,
don't mind going over. I don't know what we cut at this point if we want to go down to 40.
we can probably cut some more of our hard removal because we have so much already.
So what do we have removal wise? We have Vile Imps. We have so that's two, 5 with the harpies.
Skeleton's
Seven,
like mini removal, yeah.
7 with the Legion. 8 with the Death Dealer. Shrink is not technically removal, it just makes better exchanges.
Yeah.
Same with
I,
Polymorph.
yeah, polymorph counts as removal. Turning something into a frog is removal.
Okay. So that's 7, 9. Firebolts is sidelined. I think think Firebolt's is sidelined. I don't think it's a good enough piece of removal. Scorched Earth.
That's there for the Yggdrasil thing, and also there to potentially blow up some of our lands with opponent stuff on them. I like it.
It's still removal, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we still do it. Okay. Ice Lance is good in my book still. I think 3 damage is super good. 3, then 2, then 1 is super good. Blaze, obviously, Disintegrate, Minor Explosion, Warp Spasm, and Upwelling. So we're down to 43 spellbook. We need to cut 3 more cards. Do we roll with 2 Mix Ignis to Mix Aqua? Excuse me.
Yeah, I think we run with 2 of each of those.
7 League Boots is just good. I think it's just
Yeah.
good. Land Deed. Land Deed. How important is Land Deed? If we don't hit Mega Amoeba, how important is Land Deed?
We landed our Avatar, and then we still shut off one of the lands, which will kind of lock our opponents at 3-ish, like 2 to 3 lands.
I was
So
gonna.
land deed's good.
Or we Land Deed our Infernal Legion.
Yeah, we landed anything. We don't landed anything that could be important and could survive, and then we just sit it on our opponent's outermost land, and then they can't play any more lands for the rest of the game.
Well, they can play. Yeah, that's true. Because yeah, they would need to play adjacent to a site they control, and if you don't have any lands, you need to play it under you.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'm still fine with Land Deed. It's just 4 cost really aggravates me. Like that's not.
It's not hard to play 4 costs for us, though. Like, that's very
No,
easy.
I feel like it definitely wants to go on our avatar because if we put it on a creature and it died, obviously that's bad. But looking at our power, we don't have much by way of power on board until we hit Legion and Hydra, but that's not so bad. 3 is a good rate, I think, for a majority of these. The only one that's outside of that is the Vile Imp, and we could switch those for the dragons, but I still think that the Genesis of 2 on this is still really solid.
Yeah,
I still think Vile Imp is just a better dragon, a better Quarrelsome Kobold, and easier to play.
I
All right,
can agree to that.
so what do we get rid of? I like Minor Explosion.
I mean, is Minor Explosion relevant in comparison to, like, Disintegrate?
Yeah, yeah, because in my mind, I would rather Minor Explosion doing 3 damage to each unit 2 steps away, because our Pathfinder is going to be 2 steps away. So we can set it up. And if you notice, like, the trend with our characters, how they're all 3 power, majority of 3 power, that's true of most colors. So Minor
Fair enough.
Explosion is going to kill, like, whatever's there and damage the Avatar, or, do you know what I mean? Like, it's doing a lot. I feel like it's a better exchange than Disintegrate. Although, Disintegrate's good for getting rid of things that are also reanimate targets. I don't know. It's fine. I think Disintegrate's still good. Iceland still feels good. Blaze is obviously good.
Yeah.
It's tough. We're
Hmm.
really just looking here. I think we just get rid of.
We could probably get rid of, like, Upwelling and Shrink.
Yeah. So we'll sideline one of these.
Because Shrink requires that we have something that will be able to immediately deal damage.
I think that we just reduce shrink to 1, maybe.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Would you
Yeah,
rather?
and
Would you
then
rather like another?
we can cut like probably one,
Oh,
not this, but
that puts it at 40. By the way.
oh, 40 on the dot. Okay, then never mind. We're good.
So I mean, we could take away shrink and add another Vile Imp,
One shrink is fine. It's still like 1 mana, kill a thing if we have any way of doing damage.
which we do.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we want the imps.
Right. They just Genesis kill the thing. It could be their
Yeah.
biggest thing. All right. I'm okay with that.
All right, now we go to
We
sets.
Yeah, we didn't actually add any auras to this deck, but I don't feel so bad where it's standing.
Yeah, I was also looking for artifacts to see if there's any artifacts that were worth playing for draw or something like that, and the
It's
only
just
one
the
was like the book potentially.
Yeah, but that hurts, dude.
I know.
I think we're happy if we run into Vaults of Zul and then just try to play the best turn we can with the draw 3.
Yeah.
This all seems good though. We only have 2 things that are triple threshold. Yeah, this seems good. Okay, so what do we got? We're gonna edit and go into our sites now, and we want water and fire sites. So clearly we want the dual land, not this one. Hold up. We want the dual lands. I hate that I have to turn my head for this.
I know.
It's painful. There you go. Oasis. So we'll put one in the deck. Oh, let's just start from the bottom. So uh, we're gonna click on them. I'm just gonna do that. We're gonna do this instead. Okay. Winter River. Yes. Why is it? You notice how it's like being really reflective? Is this like a foil version or something?
Maybe. Like, they give you the options of looking at foils.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we definitely want Winter River in the deck. Look at the next spell. Put it on top or bottom of your spell book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Vesuvius. Sacrifice Vesuvius. Each unit occupying nearby sites takes 3 damage.
Not horrible, but not great.
Do you think
Like, it's
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 just
a
a
we could put it. It's like a it won't hurt us if we put it. We could if we want to.
it's a free fire site?
Yep.
It's a free fire site. It seems good to me.
Yeah.
Undertow. Genesis. Staying within this body of water. Move target unit 1 step. I like that the thing on Vesuvius is elected later. This is fine. I think Undertow is just fine. I wouldn't want to include it. Genesis, summon 3 submerged frog tokens here. Only if you have trip. We're not gonna have that. So yeah, we're gonna avoid that. Summer River, we need that. The desert. So we're also gonna put Spring River in. Spring River is just the other ordinary.
Yep.
Well, actually, we should look at our split here. Give me 1 second. So back to deck list.
It
Our
was close to 50-50.
Oh, damn, you're right. Okay, okay. So we can have a pretty reasonable mix of fire
Yeah.
and water sites. I think it'll be okay. But
We lean towards fire, but we do roughly 50-50.
dude, other nearby sites lose their abilities. Smokestacks. So is this bad for us? Obviously, if it's Yggdrasil into this, then we sort of lose our momentum there. But it's not bad for shutting off any sort of Genesis that they might try to play into smokestacks.
Hmm.
Free fire site, sir.
I know it's a fire site, but we do have so many utility lands or utility sites.
We don't want to shut
So,
ourselves off.
yeah, I don't like it.
Genesis, reactivate the Genesis ability of your nearby deserts. That ain't gonna happen. Although we do need to put deserts in the. Maybe do we need to put deserts in the deck? I guess we do.
Probably.
Well, let's see before we get there. Because how many sites do we have already? 11. Okay. Uh, River of Flame. This is a fire spellcaster. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's why not?
It's just another point of origin for our spells. The question is, how many fire spells do we actually have at this point?
A good deal. A good deal.
Yeah, Disintegrate. We've got Disintegrate, we've got Minor Explosion, and we've got. I'm looking at the ones that have a point of origin. It's fine. There's 2. There's just 2, sadly. It'll be fine. I think we need the deserts, is what it comes down to. Because we have Mirage. When played, you may return a site in play you own to your hand to play the site in its place, noting that the land will be trapped in our hand.
Yeah. Not great.
Not great at all. And the last 2 fire sites are these. Deal 1 damage to each minion atop target nearby site. All right, so no, sorry, that was a basic.
The desert. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
we'll
there's
put the basic deserts in here. Might as well.
yeah.
Dwarven Forge. Anyone can conjure weapons and armor here for 1 less. Mm,
We
you
don't
know,
really have weapons and armor. We have the boots,
the
but that's
boots.
primarily it.
The
And the
boots.
map or the what's it called?
Land
The
Deed.
yeah.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's look at the other water sites to see if there's any good utilities there. I don't want to screw ourselves out of red sources though. I think we just need the basic deserts because
Yeah, agreed.
I mean they're not very good for us, but it feels weird doing Pathfinder with fire. But we might hit them. They might be useful. All right, so we've got I don't think we put Autumn River in yet. Do that. We've got Summer River, Spring River, Autumn River. Is Winter River special? I'm so confused. Is this like some sort of promotional thing? Because Summer,
Maybe, I
Spring,
don't
and
know.
Autumn are like the ones that I own. I'll have to look that up. I don't own a Winter River. I think that is something special. We want it.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's like not some super expensive alpha card. It might be. Okay, well, it's there. This one. Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. That's actually kind of cool. We don't actually use that, but it's not bad. If we suspect that they'll try to bury one of our things, we can sort of pull around
Flood
it.
it. Yeah, and then they
Yeah,
can't.
right. Like bury what, sir? Island Leviathan may transform into a monster. Place flooded rubble underneath.
So the mixes, they only say that our next spell that we cast doesn't care about pips, right?
Yeah, not
Dang
transform.
it. Dang it.
Otherwise, maybe yes. Iceberg minions occupying sites, nearby sites can't submerge or surface. Minions occupying nearby sites can't submerge or surface. Okay.
We're fine with
Um.
that. We don't do any submerging or surfacing, so we might as well.
Right. My issue is I think we're a little too water heavy right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The last two we add should be fire sites.
Yeah. And we already did all the basic deserts, right?
I think we did, dude.
Well, because we're gonna forge and eliminate land abilities, or forge and have the potential to blow up. Since the
Uh,
Vesuva thing and then the forge thing
well,
probably.
yeah, we were on Vesuvius already for
Oh, we're
sure.
already on Vesuvius?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
well,
still
we're
good.
doing the forge thing.
Let's just shifting sands might
Wait,
work. Reactivating the Genesis abilities of your nearby deserts. I don't think we don't do shifting sands. It's just fine.
yeah, shifting sands is fine, but also if we wanted, we could just put in a dual land that's out of our colors. We
Right,
could
if
use
we
keep if we really want to.
yeah. I mean, is smokestacks really bad?
Feels like it. Feels kind of not good.
Let's just make sure we did all of our deserts. There's no way that we run the pristine paradise, right?
No, no, no.
Well, I mean, they could. Whatever. A
Like
unique site.
we can probably guarantee that it's good a lot of the time, but the issue is our opponents could just go like nope at any point.
Mm-hmm. Do you like Maelstrom? I'm sorry, we didn't even look at over all the cool water utilities. Okay, so the forge could help in allowing us. Anyone may conjure weapons and armor here, and for one less. It just helps with the 7 league boots, if anything.
Yeah,
And what?
boots indeed.
Fine. Well, I don't know if it's a weapon. So it's
Well,
fine. Dwarven Forge is fine. If it gives us a cheaper boots, it gives us a cheaper boots. And what? Our opponent's gonna like move to Dwarven Forge to if they go to the Dwarven okay, so if they summon something on the Dwarven Forge, it's just prompting us to nuke everything on the Dwarven Forge. Right?
it's, I like we can do that. Yeah.
Fine. There's no detriment to that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shifting Sands. Shifting Sands is the one that prompts our deserts again. Maybe it works. Desert, desert, desert. I wish there was a fourth magical desert, right? We get a fourth magical winter river. What's that about?
Because it's the four seasons.
Ah, damn it, you're right. Yeah, you are right. So all we missed was Steps, which is a dual land. We missed the other dual land. There aren't that many fire sites. Mirage is not good for us.
It's actively bad, yeah.
Yeah. But these water sites, not discuss we did not discuss Maelstrom. At the start of your turn, you may pull in each minion in this body of water one step. That's not bad. So bodies of water are any adjacent water sites you control creates a body of water.
Yeah, I
So
figured.
this could be useless or it could be
Yeah.
good.
I mean, like, it's debatably actually, I was gonna say it's debatably just better than the basics, but probably not. The basics are actually pretty good.
Once per turn, you may flood an adjacent site this turn. I feel like floodplain is just better.
Yeah.
It's pseudo control. At least it's optionally good. Minions occupying nearby sites can't submerge a surface. I think iceberg is just generically good. Um,
Agreed.
I mean it could stop us, right? Minions occupying nearby sites can't submerge a surface. We don't have any submerge
Correct. You were right.
or surface. Okay, so we're good. Okay, ah, I think that's it. I
All
think
right.
that's the deck. All right, so early game. What's the best hand? I guess a mix Ignis into, well, we have Aqua and Ignis, and we've got a fairly even split of things we want to see in play. I guess early game
We just
Infernal
want art
Legion.
damage, probably. We just want control pieces and the weird draw pieces that we have early, and then we just want to hope that we find bombs later.
Mm-hmm. Create a primer. Oh, sir, we've been talking through this whole video. You guys know the primer.
This is the primer.
This is the primer. Yeah, early Clamor of Harpies would be sick. We just kill their thing, start flying and attacking them. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know. Like, I guess a good early game start, if we could get Mega Amoeba and Landede and 7-lane boots in our opening hand, sure. I do think that the better color for sites, at least with ordinaries, is maybe Earth, but I like this approach to fire water, and I will definitely be interested in trying this out in a constructed setting. I don't think that this deck ever needs the cores, and I don't think it needs the Philosopher's Stone. I think the mix Ignis is just going to be, or the mixes, excuse me, are just going to be good for helping us ramp out on turn or doing more with our turn. Mind you, these just pop for and cost 3 less to cast. Oh, okay. So with the Sea Raiders in Captain Baldassare, though, like these don't help you cast those things. Like the mixes won't help you cast their spells
But it's
unless
fine because you don't care about thresholds, so pips don't matter, and you're already ramping fast enough. So
right
even if
that
you get
we
them out like turn one, let's say, like you immediately just go move, play land, play mix, and then like crack, play one of the guys. Turn two, you're gonna have another land, and then potentially find like a card or two.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's you have 2 mana to play with to find stuff. In worst case scenario, you're just milling your opponent's deck.
Let's just one final search. I just want to see if there are any draw utilities we're missing. I think you're right. I don't think there were, but
Not many. The journal is kind of one of the better ones, sadly.
yeah, we're not on Wayfaring Pilgrim. I don't think that's a good call. You may sacrifice another minion here to draw a card. If we did Fire Earth and we're just making tokens, that would be kind of cool. Pact with the Devil is really sick, but I don't think we're on that. Sacrifice the caster or lose half your life, rounding up. If you
Draw
do draw 3
three.
cards, what do you think, Will? Are you
No,
thinking late game this could be potentially useful?
no. I mean, granted, if we wanted, we could sacrifice that one land, but
Oh,
theoretically,
oh,
if we
Will.
wanted, we could swap out a land for that one land that says all creatures on here are casters, and then use this. But
Which what? Oh, I think that card advantage near the end of the game is so crucial though, and I own a copy of Pact with the Devil, Will.
we could do that. We could do Pact with the Devil and then add in that other land.
Right. Right. Okay. So maybe that no to Riptide, no to Geyser, and no to Fire Harpoons. Those are kind of cute cantrips, but they don't really play well with our strategy. I think Pact with the Devil is maybe the last draw utility we can potentially add. Insofar as where it slots in, oh, you were saying spellcasters.
Yeah, there's the one land that just makes all your minions on there spellcasters. It's a neutral.
It is neutral, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Standing Stone. Minions here are spellcasters.
You can play anything there and then sacrifice it to draw 3.
Right. It's kind of weird to have to do in tandem. Spells cast by nearby spellcasters cost 2 more to cast. Whoa, that's crazy. Um, I still like Lava Salamander, but I don't think it's for this deck. I love this land now. River of Flame has so much more importance now. I don't like having to go for another colorless. Do we take out Mirror? Do we take out Mirror Realm? I think we just take out Mirror Realm.
Yeah, Mirror Realm feels kind of
Yeah, because like it's obviously it could be potentially good, but it's so random. Where this is just generically good, I think in the list now, Standing Stones,
Yep,
and
yep.
then we can take out a the last shrink. No, how do we slot Pact with the Devil in? I do think we need the draw legitimately. So we've got draw by way of Captain Baldassare, Sea Raiders, Pact with the Devil, Vault of Zul. Jamal says, "Oh boy, y'all bright and early with this one. Just woke up and seen the love. Hey, thanks for joining, man. Well, let's see what this is about. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend you check out the VOD. We definitely talk a little bit more about the game in depth in early stage, but you can sort of like skim through or double speed to get through some of our thoughts on the deck selection here. But we're trying to make Pathfinder in Fire Water. There are 2 sub strategies again going on. There's Yggdrasil Explosion. There's the Yggdrasil Explosion with our own Scorched Earth. Maybe we take out one Scorched Earth, Will.
Yeah, I'd say like one Scorched Earth or one Ice Lance or one Blaze.
I think Blaze is generically good with our bodies, and we've got 18 bodies. It's also good with our Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, Will. I just don't know anymore. It's good with Mega Amoeba. It's good with Cerberus and Chains, like to put Cerberus in a spot where it could start killing things. It's not bad. Okay, I like this deck construction a lot. I think that this is the build. There's nothing I would really want to change. I think War Spasm is maybe a little too costly. We might not ever get there,
Yeah.
but we
I
should
was
be.
I was thinking more Spasm as well, but I'm like, I do love that it can just wipe the board with the Hydra.
Oh my god, yeah. The combo with Hydra and it are very good. I don't like the threshold on Legion, but again, that's why we're running the mixes.
Yep. And
Everything's
Legion
good.
is also just so good for our strategy because we can dump it on one side of the board, then run to the other.
Facts. Yeah, and literally we just leave that threat. If they can't deal with it, we literally drop Legion and then just start walking around the board. I think that's all
Yeah.
we do. We just draw cards, walk around the board. And then like, yep, deal with that. Once you deal with it, I'll come back and we can talk.
You know what they say? Liege boots are made for walking, so that's just what they'll do.
That's right. So 7 league boots. Is it a must in the deck, Will?
Uh, I think it's good. I do like it just because it's really good with Amoeba. It's really good in the Connect 4 game that we're trying to do at the very top.
I think
So,
that Landdeed Mega Amoeba is maybe a little too cheeky, but it can happen.
well, I like Landy just as Landy in general, and I think Mega Amoeba is just fine because we're gonna be distracting our opponents enough that we can just toss Mega Amoeba in the very back row and then have it walk around to make it big.
Mm-hmm. It occupies all locations it's ever occupied and has +1 power. Man. So we would need a counter to manipulate this, but if we Mega Amoeba and Blaze immediately, it will be very big. And we'll be able to defend any single spot it's ever been on. I don't know, that's pretty sickening.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a dream. That's sort of a dream. I do think that it's just not generically. I don't. It obviously needs time to get to the point where it's good, but if it is allowed that time, it's very good. And then our default to we have Yggdrasil and we have Death Dealer to just like clean slate things.
yeah. If the game goes late and our opponent starts getting a board, we just play one of those and say no.
Yeah, I need to see how much it costs to get Winter River in its deck, but at any rate, guys, that's the Pathfinder build. What I want to do for you all is get a link, copy deck. No, I will. Will, tell me if this link works for you. I'm just going to send this to you on Discord, and let me know if you're able to like click on this and see it, or is it like, does it say log in? You need to. Sorry, guys, Will's face is going to get messed up on screen really quickly. But let me know if that link works for you so you can check it out. I want to make sure that link works for you guys.
Yep, I
And
can see everything.
awesome. So our Pathfinder, and I'll switch it now. So we've got a Pathfinder that is fire and water. Fire and water.
And this has been Dr. Jiggles Disney Shoes.
Dr. Diggle's Disney shoes. That's right. So that is the build for today. Again, in the future, I'm gonna keep making builds here. Hopefully, Will join me on these builds. I definitely enjoy like working through the thought process with him on all of this. But obviously, once we've got enough of a repertoire, I would say that you can expect some gameplay here on Tabletop Simulator as what we're going to use to emulate this. There isn't another sim available that makes it easier, but Tabletop Simulator is like really clean. I think it's just a matter of learning the controls for us because we're both novices with it. But that's where we'll practice these decks and you get to see them showcased. So we'll make a few more of these. Expect that in the near future. Obviously, when I've done enough tournaments and enough constructed matches, I can report back to you guys on what works, what doesn't work. But I do intend to play this game fairly competitively. So we'll see how that goes. At any rate, Will, any final thoughts?
Uh, Not that I can think of. No, yeah, it was a good stream. Glad that I was able to finally at least take a look at Sorcery, and I'm probably gonna be playing it relatively soon with you. So
I have so
I
many
can.
cards to send you, Will. I've literally so this box, right? There's like a couple cards in here. This is my actual collection. I don't have like a proper deck box for it yet.
Yeah.
But those are all like the play sets of everything. This other box back here is loaded with ordinaries and exceptionals that you just need copies of. So you'll have all the basics, I would say. And then you'll just need to buy out anything else. I would do the same for you, audience, but I don't have that many cards. But yeah, I'm just trying to get like play sets of everything so that I can do anything I want. But we're not there yet. I need to organize a trade in for TCG Player today. I think that's my other goal, just to pick up singles. I gotta say, guys, if you're going to be picking up singles for this game, TCG Player is like the place right now. But I'd recommend you go local game store first, and then potentially TCG Player. Their trade-in program is a little wonky. Like I traded them in pack fresh cards that we opened, like some stuff I didn't need. And the way their system works is that they state that they will take your cards if you send it within a certain period, provided they needed it at that time. And what they told me when I sent them the cards, I'm like, yeah, these are all pack fresh. They're all near mint. The foils are crisp, yada, yada, yada. Everything's the same. But they're like, oh, yeah, so we marked those cards as missing. But what that really means is that they didn't meet our standard. And I'm like, well, because you can say whatever you want about the cards I sent you that I definitely knew were like near mint or close to near mint, they can basically say, oh, we actually don't need this in our inventory anymore. Just say that it's of a different quality and we can't meet the requirement. I think that's what happened. I'm 100% positive that's what happened. I only say this because it's a little tedious to use their trade-in system. If it was cleaner, if the UI was cleaner, and it didn't feel like I was wasting a slot because you can only send, I think, 100 on your first batch, it would be less frustrating. TCG Player, great for everything else, but that trade-in program, dude, sorry, I just had to vet. That was really annoying when that happened. I didn't lose like much money in the trade, but to know that they can sort of just like pick and choose, they're like, I don't know, this isn't quite near mint. I'm like, I don't know, all the shit I just opened, like some of it we opened on camera, some of the foils I didn't need, but yeah. At any rate, use TCG Player to pick up your singles. I don't have a link for you, and I'm not sure we will have a link in the future because they've changed the whole program and they're being really unresponsive with me. So yeah, we'll probably switch it up. But I mean, I still use them, so whatever. But yeah, Will, what do you want to build? I'm curious if you've had a chance to look at the avatars, and I'll leave it to the audience too if there's like an avatar you guys want to see built. But I'd be curious to see what you would want to play if you played this game.
I haven't seen anything that popped out to me yet. Since I've been looking at Pathfinder so much, Pathfinder's kind of the only thing that I've really gotten a good look at. And I've already brewed like a couple of the ideas that we discussed for Pathfinder.
Are
But
you gonna do another Pathfinder? Are we both gonna play
I might do a
Pathfinder?
Pathfinder. I don't know. But I'll need to check it out myself to see if there's any others because I can quickly hop back onto the site and then go. Nah,
Well, I think what you might, I
yeah.
would say, and what I said earlier, generically, in a limited environment, Sorcerer is really good. But even constructed, just having the draw at the end game, very
Yeah.
good. Prometheus or Prometheus Chains, I think, is a card that I would recommend if you expect a lot of draw from your opponent. It's something that I used when I was, oh my god, dude. Someone passed me Chains of Prometheus. I'll show you guys what this is. So I was drafting. I drafted Wave Shaper. I drafted Wave Shaper and I played mono blue, but someone passed me Prometheus of Chains of Prometheus. It says whenever a player draws a card, that player taps their strongest untapped minion. Near the end game, that's all people are doing. So, and it also includes the first draw per turn. So you can actually stunt them from damaging you. I had so much control magic. It was insane. Blue is a lot of control, as I said earlier. But sorry, not to cut you off, Will.
Uh, I wasn't going to be saying anything. I'm just looking at the avatars.
Oh yeah, but which one looked appealing to you? Oh, we can
Uh,
even. I'll just put them on screen for you guys.
yeah, there isn't really any that are super standoutish to me. Like Elementalist looks very vanilla, but
Dude,
interestingly vanilla. But
that's so. I think Elementalist is so good. Like that's the deck I really wanted to play. So you guys know when I did proxy a bunch of competitive lists, Battle Mage was like the main one. It's good. It works. It's a good card. But Elementalist is interesting. It's one of those ones that I don't think's been cracked yet because it gives you all the affinity, but that doesn't mean you play four colors necessarily. It just means that you can splash the best spells with low threshold, right? So, I mean, you saw like our list has a bunch of really great cards that only have one threshold requirement. So, Elementalist, she allows you to play the best sites and some of the best utilities and have options within that range. So she, equally as Pathfinder, can go so many directions. And I've heard people go Elementalist, splash some of the best cantrip utilities. So you just filter through your deck and then go monocolor for the most part. So you're definitely in Earth or you're definitely in Fire, but you have some of the best like mobility utilities, things like that. Um, she looks so sick. Someone I'm gonna say a friend of mine gave me the Elementalist. He pulled very well with his boxes, and he pulled like an extra Elementalist, and he's like, "Here, you said you wanted to build it, so I have a copy. If you and honestly, Will, if you actually wanted to build Elementals, I can send you a copy. I can send you the copy.
yeah, it's looking at them in detail. I think like the two that I think have the coolest play styles outside of like Pathfinder are Enchantress and Spark Mage.
Oh
Those
my
are the two
god,
that I
yeah,
think are like crazy cool, and I might build them just to see what random jank I can get up to. Because
yeah.
Enchantress seems like some BS where you just put a couple enchantments here and there, and you go, oh yeah, by the way, I cast a spell, make that into a 4/4, gonna punch you for 4, and then it's gonna stop being a creature, so you can't really punch it back. Oh, I'm gonna do that on the
Dude,
opposite side of the board now. I'm gonna do it there, and then 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 there.
I've not seen anyone build a very good control Enchantress, but you have access to what is an archetype that's not typically played for. Like auras, you maybe slot one or two into your deck, but they're seldom often played for. But if you did like that ice wall you were talking about, dude, it's a so not only does it become an animated thing where you can move around and like reposition where it is, but it will be a three damaging aura. Like that's an absurd amount of damage. So you can sort of I don't know. There's a lot of cool things you can do with Enchantress, and I just haven't seen the deck list for it yet. So maybe that's something we can do.
And then Spark Mage is the other one, just because it's Storm. You play a lot of spells, get your Storm count high enough, and then you just blast something for 8 damage, probably your opponent's Avatar.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. That should get there hopefully. But yeah, that's one of the new starter cards. So if you notice here, like there's a Flame Caller, Geomancer. Geomancer's pretty sick. Wave Shaper, the one I drafted with recently, and Spark Mage. Those are the new avatars to replace the Avatar of Air, Avatar of Earth, Avatar of Fire, Avatar of Water, who all have really gorgeous art. These are kind of expensive now because they were only released in alpha, and the odds are likely they're only going to go up. So I hope you don't like any of those, Will.
Nothing that really caught my attention. Like Avatar Fire is kind of cool, so maybe Avatar Fire, but
Oh,
eh.
dude, she's a free fireball.
Yeah,
At the end of the
exactly.
game, that's so legit, dude. Like I had such a good time playing with that starter. I wish I bought the starters, but I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I can get my hands on a starter later. It would be really fun to own these because I would actually like to make Avatar of Fire. But at any rate, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Definitely look for a community post talking about potential avatar you would like to see built on the channel. And then obviously, I'm going to take some time learning tabletop sim, and we'll get some gameplay for you guys soon. But until then, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, thanks for joining us on this one. Hope you enjoyed the build. It went much longer than I suspected, but I think once we get a lock on general strategy, it'll be easier to like come to a conclusion. I think when we come to the table next time, Will, we should probably just have like the elements in mind. Maybe.
Like the issue was with this, we had so many options because we're like, oh, how do we want to go
Well,
for this?
they were
Oh,
all
well, there's like 8 different strategies we could go for.
they were all good. I don't even know if fire water was the best one. I still feel like I like the water elements honestly for like the captain and the raiders. I almost feel like earth and that would have been good because we could get the tutor to find because it's a mortal. Isn't it an exceptional mortal? Yeah, we could use the call to war tutor to find our sea raiders when we need them. And then like we're generating foot soldiers. And then there's also like heal spells because we're going to be in the fray the whole time. So I feel like the heal spells. Anyway, maybe I will do an earth. I will do an earth water build of Pathfinder later. But until then, see you guys. See ya. Bye now. Bye now. Like. Yeah. Subscribe. Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. I think Pathfinder is this was a pretty sick build, dude.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, wait.